Good morning, Raptor freaks. Alexi out here, and it's Sunday morning, and the Raptors are starting the West Coast road trip against the Lakers tonight. Tip-off will be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So get ready for the late games starting this week. Yeah, I just opened the camera, so it's all bright, I guess. I should open the camera earlier. It's weird. I opened the camera right before, and it's like all bright, and then it gets into focus like this. It's weird. Yeah, that's interesting. I guess it's just light. Yeah, so let's do the preview. Let's get ready for the Lakers tonight. Our one trip to play the Lakers on their home court. And well, the other day we played the Clippers and we lost in overtime in Toronto on Friday. And we saw the Clippers at a better time in the season for them because they were really bad at the beginning of the season and they picked up a lot of steam in the last month. And it's not the best time to play the Clippers. Well, this is kind of the reverse for the Lakers. The Lakers started really, really well this season, and they've been sitting at the top of the Pacific Division. But honestly, they're a false team at the top. They're going to fall, trust me, very soon. And well, this is a fantastic time to play the Lakers right now. Now, this game isn't for sure anyway. Like, this is a tough game no matter what, because it's the first game of a road trip. It is on the road, and the ref crew isn't that good today. I'm going to say that right now. But there's a lot in our favor. The Lakers played last night against the Trailblazers in Portland. So they're on the second night of a back to back, and they'll play a game within 24 hours of when they already played last night, where they lost to the Trailblazers last night. So, and then it was a high scoring game. So they're traveling from Portland to LA from last night to be ready for this game against us. Meanwhile, we've been off since Friday. So there is an advantage in that the Lakers are on the second night of a back to back and they traveled because they were in Portland last night. Let's go look at the injury list. Not totally good news for the Raptors still on the injury front. Chucky Hepburn is out. He's still out from his meniscus surgery. Quickly is questionable today. He is actually questionable. I really hope Emmanuel plays today. I really, really do. It still is back. He's day to day. He has a chance to play today. Let's just put it that way. RJ is ruled out. He will not be playing today. No RJ Barrett. His ankle, they declared him out yesterday. Jacoby is out also. He's out for sure today due to his hip injury. So no Jacoby for sure. And Jakob is ruled out also today. So no Yak, no RJ, no Jacoby for sure. No Chucky. And then Jamison Battle is the other name on the list at this point, and he is questionable with his ankle that he twisted the other night. So the two guys that are possible to come back today are Emmanuel and Jamison Battle. Hopefully we get one of them or both of them back in the lineup. That would be very helpful if Emmanuel quickly showed back up in a Toronto jersey today against the Lakers, because it's tough, man. It's tough. If we are looking at who we probably will start today, well, hopefully it is quickly Brandon, Scotty, Oshai, and Colin Murray-Boyles. Maybe that. If it isn't quickly, it'll be Shed again. It'll be Shed again. So, yeah, let's see. What is the percent chance that ESPN is saying tonight? It's very even, guys. 50-50 pretty much, with a slight lead, a slight edge to the Lakers in the matchup predictor for ESPN. They're saying 50.2% for Lakers, 49.8% for Raptors. So very, very even split. This is a very evenly seen game in some ways. Now, on the other side, there is a laundry list of injuries for them. They have not totally updated this from yesterday. We will see what's up. Austin Reeves has gotten hurt, guys. He has a grade 2 left gastrocnemius strain, and he will be reevaluated in 4 weeks from Christmas. So that means he's going to get reevaluated in the next week or two, but he has been out pretty much for like a month now. So that's a good thing, because when we played the Lakers early this year, he was definitely a huge factor in helping them beat us in an overtime loss to the Lakers. So yeah, Reeves is out. There's no Austin Reeves tonight, guys. Adu Terrio is also out. He's got an MCL sprain, and he's been out for the whole month of January. And it's not looking like he'll be back Maybe he'll be back for February, is what they're saying. Jackson Hayes is out right now with a hamstring injury, also right now. This is something that happened last night in the Portland game. Marcus Smart got hurt with an undisclosed injury, and he actually left the game in the fourth quarter last night and did not return. So it's very likely that Marcus Smart will be out today against the Raptors due to a late game injury against Portland last night. DeAndre Ayton did not play yesterday against the Portland Trailblazers. It's a knee injury. Now, I don't know if he is just gotten rested for the second night of a back-to-back and he'll be playing against us tonight. That could very well be the case with DeAndre Ayton. And also the same with Luka. Luka didn't play last night. He didn't play against the Trailblazers. And it's a groin soreness. He has a left groin soreness. But it could very well be that both Ayton and Luka Doncic were being sat on the first night of back-to-back to be played on the second night of back-to-back against us. That's not for sure, though. They could also be actually hurt, and they just don't play either. So there's no guarantee Luka's playing tonight, guys. He has an injury that's bugging him right now, and he may be sitting out. And then that would mean, well, it's the King James show for pretty much that team. That LeBron is healthy. LeBron is playing. Rui Hachimura is healthy. He'll be starting tonight. But after that, all bets are off. All bets are off. It could be Gabe Vincent and Jake LaRavia out there starting with them instead, because all bets are off. Because there's a ton of Lakers that are hurt, and they have not been playing well. Who are the Lakers right now? Well, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Kobe Buffkin, Gabe Vincent, Jake LaRavia, Jared Vanderbilt, Dalton Connect, Maxi Kleber, Drew Timme, Nick Smith Jr. That's pretty much them. And they haven't been doing well lately. Like, they lost last night, and they've lost 5 of their last 6 games, guys. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. So they've been losing a lot. And JJ Redick recently reamed them out publicly in an interview, saying things about how they play and what they're doing. So this is a really good time of the year to play the Lakers, but we can't fumble this one. We really can't. We need to get this win, especially the way they beat us on our home court earlier this season was a travesty. And so we need to pay them back and even the series for the year by beating them on their home court. They're hurt and they're not playing well, and they're ripe for the picking. Let's just put it that way. Raptors, don't fumble this one, man. Like y'all fumbled the Clippers on Friday night. Seriously, y'all can get them. Y'all can get them. You need to get them, is what I'm saying. Because listen, this season's going to get is tough. And in some ways, we're hurt. They're hurt. We need to prove that we're the better team, even though we're hurt too. All right, let's go look at the refs, because this is not necessarily a good ref crew. Replay center tonight in Secaucus is John Butler, Simone Jelks, and Sayesh Mehta. They will be in there watching the screens. And on site in LA, the crew chief will be James Williams. James Williams is our crew chief tonight, number 60, out of Memphis, Tennessee, in his 16th season. He loves the show Snowfall. He likes the movie The Shawshank Redemption. His favorite book is The Soul of Money. He likes soul food. He likes the app Ref Masters. He's most likely to visit Africa. His bucket list is to become the mayor of Chicago, and his hidden talent is rapping. James Williams officiated 2 seasons in the WNBA. He is also a referee in the G League, working 2 finals series in the 2010 All-Star Game. Williams served as a college basketball official for 9 years also. We've had James once this year, and we did win that game. We win 50% of our games. We're absolutely even. We have the same amount of wins and losses when he's present, and the Lakers win 44%. So he does favor us. James Williams, the crew chief, 50-44 is the split for the Raptors in this referee situation. Yeah, he's 1-0 with us this year. So I don't know. He may be the best ref today, honestly. And that's crazy because I've never think of James Williams as a trustworthy ref to look out for the Raptors. He can be an asshole, and he can definitely be difficult. Let's just put it that way. The second ref today is Ray Acosta, and he is definitely a problem. I'm just going to say this. Ray Acosta is one of the worst refs for the Raptors on the down low, guys. He really is. He's out of Elizabeth, New Jersey, his ninth season, number 54. His favorite TV show is The Sopranos. He likes the movie Scarface. He likes Michael Jackson. He likes the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He'll eat anything Italian. His favorite app is Netflix. He most like to visit the Maldives. His bucket list is to be in a shark tank surrounded by great white sharks in Australia. And his hidden talent is dancing. We've had Ray Acosta twice this year already, and we lost both those games. He was refereeing with Mark Davis in Charlotte the night they railroaded us to overtime and put us in that situation where everything went apart from our 9-game winning streak. And when we were doing really well, he was a part of that. And also Ray Acosta refereed the second Philly game last week. I think he was refereeing us on Monday last week when we lost to Nick and the Sixers when Embiid and George showed up. So, yeah, he's not a good ref for us. Acosta has 12 years of collegiate officiating experience, which stints in Conference USA, as well as the American Athletic, Atlantic Sun, Big South, Mideastern Athletic, Southern, and Sun Belt conferences. Ray Acosta is officiated in the NCAA tournament from 2016 to 2017. Yeah, he just sucks, man. He sucks. Like we've lost both the games he's ref this year, I just named, and we win overall with him. Our winning percentage is so garbage. It's like in the red zone. It's worse than a lot of the old school refs, like ones we've seen recently. 41.4 win percentage. So 41% is our winning percentage with Ray Acosta, and the Lakers win 47%. So they're not super better, but they are definitely better. So 41-47 for the Lakers with the second ref, Ray Acosta. The third ref is the best ref statistically for the Raptors, but he's still not favoring us. Matt Myers is out of St. Louis, Missouri in his 8th season, number 43, likes the show The Wire. His favorite movie is The Shawshank Redemption. I think that's the common theme here today. Most favorite musician is Jay-Z. He likes the book A Promised Land. His favorite meal is buffalo wings. He likes the app Words with Friends. He'd most like to visit Bora Bora. He'd like to attend the Masters, and his hidden talent is golf. Matt Myers officiated 12 seasons in the G League and 2 seasons in the WNBA. He's worked the G League Finals in 2012, 2013, and 2018, as well as the 2013 NBA G League All-Star Game. Matt Myers also officiated the men's 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup in Beijing. Yeah, I remember that actually. So, Matt Myers, we've had him once this year so far, and we lost that game. So overall, with the refs today, our current record with the games this year is 1-3. 1-3. We won the one James Williams did, and the other two guys have 3 losses. We win 52% of our games when Matt Myers is present, which is the best percentage out of the 3 refs. But the Lakers win 65% of their games when Matt Myers is present. So 52-65 for the Lakers with Matt Myers. So, yeah, 2 of the refs favor the Lakers straight up, and James Williams favors us, but he is not to be trusted. Let's just put it that way. This game is rife for a ref manipulation. I'll tell you that right now. And, a couple years ago, Darko went to L.A., and what was he doing after the game? He was complaining, if you guys decided you didn't want to let us win the game, well, why did we even show up? There's a little bit of indication that this ref crew could be like that tonight. Just so you all know, they could railroad us to make sure we lose to the Lakers tonight. So be wary of this and watch out for this tonight. Seriously, because I feel like they're coming for this. Seriously, Ray Acosta is a horrible ref to the Raptors. He's always called calls against us. Like any kind of 50-50 calls, always going against the Raptors if it's Ray Acosta as a ref. Seriously, I've been watching him pretty closely, like all the refs, and he has never, ever, ever had a proclivity to have any kind of favor for the Raptors. He is always calling against us. Just trust me on this. He's bad for that. All right, let's check in with the chat. We got Trevor J in first, of course, the Commissioner Fund with his words of wisdom, starting the day off in the chat. He's saying, when life gets hard, you go harder. Don't fold. Don't complain. Don't wait for easy. Obstacles are just fuel. for your grind. Pain is temporary, progress is permanent. Show the world you're built for the struggle and built to win. Man, it seemed like you had like 5 or 6 of those in there. They're just like motivational statements. Something like a trainer would yell at you. Obstacles are just fuel for your grind. Pain is temporary. It's like a drill sergeant's yelling at you the things that Trevor just wrote or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. This has kind of been a common theme in some of your words of wisdom lately is just try and find tenacity and toughness and adversity and situations that aren't necessarily ideal. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I appreciate your words of wisdom, Trevor J. Blessings to the Jones family, all the Raptor Freak families. Yeah, I feel like there's a trainer yelling at me in that words of wisdom today. Let's see. Trevor's saying, happy game day. Let's beat the Lakers tonight. We need to get back one. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sick of – I don't like – there's been games this season. There's been at least a half dozen games. There's been at least 6 games this year that we totally could have won and we fumbled. And our record would be even better if we had taken care of those games. And I just don't want to have any of these kind of fumbles. I don't want to have this kind of shit. You Raptors are young, and you guys don't get starstruck with LA. Don't go over there and be like, it's LeBron, it's LA, woo, and all this stuff. No, go over there for business. Go over there to kick their ass. Go over there to beat them and get the W, Scotty, Colin, and everybody else who's going to be there. Just go win. I'm sick of this shit. I used to love going to LA to play the Lakers when Kyle was on our team because he loved going to LA and beating the Lakers' ass. Him and DeMar, they had a certain thing about making sure we win the Laker game in LA. You can go look at the stats. I know this because there were many, many times I felt real good about going to LA and playing the Lakers when Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan were on our team. Those dudes made sure we beat the Lakers. In fact, one of Kyle's last game in a Raptors jersey was against the Lakers, and he kicked their ass and beat them one last time before he rode off in the sunset to go play for the Miami Heat. So there's a history of us beating the Lakers in LA, but that was when we had Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan around our team. And in some ways, I like this tradition with you, Scotty, and RJ, and Emmanuel. You guys need to get this going, barbecue, where you guys win in LA as a tradition, just like Lowry used to have the tradition. Did you know that they had a tradition of this? Did you know that when DeMar DeRozan returned home to play the Lakers, he would burn them up and tear them up and win those games? Yeah, he would. Now, one thing in the stats that shows is interesting is that Scotty against the Lakers, his stats do uptick. Like he has higher points per game against that particular franchise. It's one of the his highest points per game against any franchise in the NBA is the Lakers. So maybe Scotty has a huge game tonight. The Lakers aren't smart in some ways like the Clippers, and they may not have a player like Chris Dunn. So let's hope and pray that Brandon has something to say as far as you drafted me. I was playing for y'all. I was a rookie with you guys, and you traded me for Anthony Davis. Get some get back, Brandon. Seriously, I know you're an easygoing guy. And just like the other day when you had a shot that was a split second too late and didn't count and didn't let us go to overtime, you let that just wash off your back like a water off a duck's back. I'd like you to hold a grudge. I'd like you to be like, you know what? This is a team that gave up on me and traded me. I want to kick their ass because the Lakers did do that, Brandon Ingram. They traded you to New Orleans. And there should be some motivation from you to come and beat your former team that you played for early in your career. There should be. There should be. I mean, if there isn't, just manufacture some bullshit in your head and just make it up. Say, oh, they did this to me and they did this to me. Get motivated. That's what I'm saying. I want to see motivation from you, Brandon, to go out there and drop a 40 piece on the Lakers tonight. I want to see motivation from you, bro, and to clean up your handle and stop turning the ball over and being lackadaisical at times. I want to see motivation. Come on now. Show it and show that you do care and that you do want to get back the Lakers. Because I want to see this. I want to see this. You guys don't pussyfoot around this team. Don't be like, oh, LeBron's a legend. I love LeBron. I can't believe I'm on the court with LeBron. Stop being starstruck. Seriously, that man will retire probably in the next couple of years. And you won't get any more opportunities to play against him. But you don't need to be thinking about all that. You need to think that he's just another opponent and you need to beat his ass. Because I'll say this, in the first game against the Lakers in Toronto, y'all got starstruck. Some of y'all young Raptors that are rookies and second years, you got taken out of your game because you were in the presence of a celebrity. You can't do this shit. Seriously, he is nobody. Be like Scott in his rookie year. Piss LeBron off so bad that he has to throw the ball at you in frustration because he's so mad because you're such a good defender and you're tying him up. That's what I want to see, Raptors, instead of you. Oh, it's LeBron. Oh, starstruck. Don't do that. Have some respect for yourself and realize he's just another adversary that you play against in the league. Because honestly, it pissed me off because I felt those vibes from you guys. I felt those vibes from you guys when you played the Lakers in Toronto. And I blame part of the reason why we lost is because y'all were a little starstruck. A little bit like, we're a young team. Oh my gosh, it's LeBron. It's LeBron. It's LeBron. Don't fangirl over LeBron, young Raptors. Don't fucking do that. Have some pride for yourselves. It's just LeBron. You don't need to fucking do this. Seriously, pinch me. I'm playing against LeBron. Fuck all that energy, you fuckers. Fuck that energy. Go beat his ass. Seriously, that's what I say right now, cussing on a Sunday morning. That's right. That's what I say right there. That's what I say right there. Yeah, James is saying Scotty versus Luka matchup fire. It's not guaranteed. That's not guaranteed. Luka might not be playing tonight. Nah, James, he's day to day, and he has a groin injury. And, well, maybe they rest him for last night to be able to play today, and he may play, but there's no guarantee. I say it's 50-50 whether Doncic suits up for the Lakers tonight or not. It may not be out there, so you may not get that matchup, just so you know. Trevor's saying this, Koloko is with the Hawks. Yeah, I saw something about this in the last day or so. The Christian Koloko is signed with the Atlanta Hawks. In some ways, I don't care about Christian anymore, man. In some ways, he's gone the route of Kawhi. And it's just like, yeah, bro. Yeah, you had your chance. You didn't choose us. You fucked off. And in some ways, you're just not going to get the benefits of Raptors alumni like Kyle Lowry and other people will. You're just not going to get it. He's been on 3 teams in the last month, Trevor. I'm not going to play where in the world is Christian Koloko like I do for Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka is a champion, and he deserves to be tracked on this channel as far as like where in the world is Serge Ibaka. He's in Morocco. But Koloko, I don't give a shit where in the world Christian Koloko is because he made his choice and he's on the Hawks. Well, maybe he'll be on the Hornets next week. Maybe he'll be on the Orlando Magic the week after that. I don't give a shit where Christian is. That man's being transacted every which way in the league this year. And he's been on, this is his 3rd organization in the last month. Something ain't right there. Yeah, I'm not tracking him no more. I don't care where Christian is. I really don't. Trevor's saying this. Kawhi Leonard had a basketball camp in Scarborough yesterday. This was extremely shocking to me. Extremely shocking. I thought the Clippers would be getting the hell out of town as soon as they could. But Kawhi stuck around, and he did a basketball camp in Scarborough yesterday. He's even been quoted. I'm looking at this on Reddit right here, that Toronto is still in my heart, is what Kawhi said as he hosted a youth basketball clinic in Toronto yesterday. This is crazy. Wait a second here. You think that he saw the stuff that Kyle got last week, and he's like, damn, wait a second. These fans don't get like this from me. And I was the finals MVP. I was the one who kind of carried them. And they don't get like this from me. Why don't they love me like they love Kyle? Why don't they love me? You think he's out there doing a special PR to try and say, yeah, I do love Toronto. My heart is still in Toronto. What is this bullshit, Kawhi? All of a sudden you're saying, I'm going to stick around and do stuff for the youth in Toronto. Man, something's fishy about this. Something's fishy about this. Listen, this is the thing, Kawhi. I'll say this, man. You're neutral. You're not in the positive with us, but you're not in the negative either. We can't deride you. We can't get mad at you. In some ways, you came through and did what you did on a one-on-one shot. And we wish you had taken a second shot with us, a second year, but you didn't, and we'll never know. But you also really didn't do things to us like Vince did or Chris. In some ways, I can't put you in the category as Chris Bosh and Vince Carter for the bullshit and how they did us dirty. So it's tough, man. You're neutral. Now, if you want to garner more positive feelings with the city of Toronto and the country of Canada and getting the adulation that Kyle Lowry is getting, that he's going to get when he retires, you may be coming too late on this. A lot of us are already saying it's like, you already made your choice, man. You're just not going to be like that because 1 year is not enough. And you did sell us out. And in some ways, it's like if you win a championship with the team, you have to try and repeat. And you didn't give us even that chance. So this is tough, man. You're going to try and garner more faith with us by going and doing a youth camp in Scarborough. Well, it's a step in the right direction. But man, you'll never be like Lowry, Leonard. You'll never, ever be like Lowry in this country because Lowry's pure, true love and realness and no fakery. And in some ways, man, you got a bad advisor in Uncle Dennis, and you got some bullshit idea that you are too good enough to play in Toronto. Like, what the fuck was that, bro? But now you're gonna hang around and say, "Oh, Toronto's always in my heart, and I care about the kids in Scarborough." I don't know. It's confusing to me. It's confusing to me. Either you're like persona non grata and say, "Look, I'm moving on. I took the CN Tower off my championship ring and put a middle finger. I'm just this is how I am." Or, okay, what you want adulation from us? This is one of the teams you won a championship with, and you know that the Spurs Nation's not going to be coming warm and fuzzy towards you either. So you're like, "Well, man, what's going to happen when I retire? How are things going to be remembered? What is my legacy?" Yeah, what is your legacy, Kawhi? And maybe you should have fucking thought about that as you were doing your career this whole time. Whether it's the way you forced yourself out of San Antonio and burned your bridges with that franchise, or you fucking made a decision to just check out on us after one and done and getting it done. Yeah, man. I mean, look, if you act flaky and you act a certain way in your life, well, you get flaky stuff afterwards. If you're pure and true, like a Kyle Lowry, like a DeMar DeRozan, you get that shit in real, because DeMar's going to get it way better than you also from the Raptors franchise. You know that. You know that. DeMar's going to get undying love and positivity and get a really huge reaction when his number 10 goes in the rafters at Scotiabank Arena, regardless of what Aubrey thinks. It's going to happen. And, that's the thing. Your number 2 will never go up there. Never go up there because you didn't do enough time served. And in some ways, that's a waste of taking the number 2 off the roster usage for jerseys. Nah, it's number 7, number 10, number 15, 43. That's another number that should go up there. And probably number 23 also. But never number 2. And you're too late on this. You fucked up. You should have quined and dined. But you had to fucking go home. You couldn't have put it off one more year at least. You could have given us just one more year. And if we didn't win the championship the second year and you just fucked off, I wouldn't be upset with you. But the fact that you left us hanging and we actually had a really good team the next year, your bullshit excuse why you left Toronto, you said, "Oh, I didn't think that the team was good enough to compete the next year for another championship." That's absolute horse crap because the team had a better record the next year after you were gone, the best record in the history of the Raptors franchise. The year you were gone in 2020 when the pandemic hit and we had this longest season in NBA history. Yeah, you were wrong. You were wrong on all kinds of things, Kawhi. Going to the Clippers and about who the Raptors were, and you were wrong for not letting us try and get a repeat. So that's why it's like that. You go ahead and kiss our asses and do more youth camps out in Scarborough. Go to Mississauga. Go to fucking Peterborough. Go to fucking Barrie. I don't give a shit. Go all around the GTA and put a bunch of youth camps on. Is this going to make up for the lost opportunity that you bailed on? No. And you will never, ever get the adulation in Canada and Toronto like Kyle Lowry does. You just won't. And in some ways, you were more important to that championship than Kyle Lowry, for sure. For sure. But that's the thing, man. These kind of things matter too. And in your life, no social media, really cut off from everybody in the world. You've lived that life and you've chose that. And in some ways, if you're not warm and friendly and you're not putting in the work to, be with the connection with the people, well, why the fuck would you think you get the connection at the end if you haven't even tried to cultivate it your whole entire career? And your legacy in the end, and you'll get a stunted growth. Oh, you're going to get a stunted growth. on Stunted Growth channel, YouTube channel. Y'all check it out. Stunted Growth's one of the best channels. He's got something out on Anthony Davis right now and how his growth was stunted, even though he is one of the better players in this era. He still had a stunted growth. He could have been way better. He's done a stunted growth on Kevin Durant recently. Well, he's going to do one on Kawhi, and it'll be probably centered around his injury problems and his bullshit with sitting out and doing different things like he did in his career. Just how many points did you miss out on this year? I mean, this career, Kawhi, just because you were unavailable, just because you weren't out there. You'll never get close to LeBron with his scoring totals and what he did because you spent half the time on the sidelines sitting around and you didn't get all the opportunities. That's why you know what? You're never going to catch DeMar DeRozan for how much he scored in this league. He's going to have way more career total points than you, and you'll never, ever catch him because you're already too far behind and you don't have enough time on the clock left. Yeah, I'd be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if Kawhi Leonard retired from the NBA before DeMar DeRozan. I wouldn't be shocked about that. In fact, it seemed like that was going to happen in the last couple of years, didn't it? Didn't it? Yeah. This is Raptors real talk right here. Yeah, Kawhi went to Scarborough. Good. I'm glad he did. And then you got that little rant that I just said right there. That's right. That's right. Nako's saying the Lakers are weird. I mean, they are weird, man. They are weird. They're kind of interesting with their big three at the beginning of the season, AR, Luka, and LeBron. Interesting, because in some ways, those three players to me are very similar in some ways. Like they're all kind of similar. They're like very offensive players, but they're not necessarily good defensive players, any of the three of them. And that, in some ways, I look at that and I look at how this league is demanding more and more two-way talent to be competitive and do what you do in this league. It's like, the stats that say that James Harden and Luka Doncic are the two laziest players on the defensive end are not good stats. No, they're not. No, they're not at all. Yeah, they are weird. You're right, Nako. They are weird. They're very weird. KT's here. Good morning to Kareem Thomas, 3-time Raptor Freak dunk champion. Scotty won't say it, but I'm sure he has a small vendetta versus LeBron since the ball throwing incident. Also, BI has his qualms about the trade to Pelicans. I expect the Raps to pull this out. I hope so. I hope so. I don't want to lose to both the LA teams 2 games in a row. And we should have won that game on Friday. This one we can win. It's a very winnable game. It's just there are certain things that are going to be against us, and we're going to have to go through them, just like Trevor's words of wisdom. It's going to be tough. The going gets tough. The tough gets going, Billy Ocean. So, look, you're going in there. Don't get starstruck. Don't be acting all, ooh, it's LeBron. Don't fangirl Colin Murray-Boyles and Jamal Shed and all you guys. No, don't fangirl. There's no reason to fangirl. It's just LeBron. Who cares? Y'all, seriously, it's stupid. When y'all do that, it's so stupid. It annoys the hell out of me. Oh, Grady, you're playing LeBron tonight. Ooh, who cares? Just beat his ass. That's what I'm saying, man. Who gives a shit? It's just LeBron James. Come on now. Just don't start thinking about, oh, he may be retiring this year. This may be the last time I ever get to play him, Tier. Fuck that. Fuck that fucking soft ass shit. He's the enemy. Beat his ass is what I'm saying right now. None of this shit, right? There's no goodbye tour. The goodbye tour isn't like, here, hand a W to LeBron on his way out. Fuck that. Hand him an L. That's what his name starts with. That's what Luka's name starts with. That's what the Lakers' name starts with. L. Give them the L. That's what they want. That's the L. Give them the L. That's right. Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam, and happy game day. Let's collapse the Fakers' defense to the point. JJ Redick has another epic rant against his players. I'd much rather hear a JJ Redick rant after the game than a Darko rant about the referees. I'm just saying, James Williams, you better be calling it right. And Ray Acosta, fuck you, man. I'll say that preemptively to him because I'm not even trying to get on his good side because I know he's going to be an asshole either way. He's not going to call it straight, man. He won't be calling it down the line. Watch. Ray Acosta will be absolutely filthy tonight, guys. Watch. I'm calling it right now. Seriously. Matt Myers, well, you have the choice, bro. You can either go with the bad side, the dark side, and call it in a really fucked up way against the Raptors, or call it right down the middle like you're supposed to. That's your choice, Matt Myers. You want to be like Ray Acosta? You go ahead and go be like Ray Acosta. But I'll be watching you, and I'll tell everybody tomorrow if you were like Ray Acosta or You're a fair, down the middle referee in the NBA. That's right. In some ways, it's like you get your NBA referee grades from the NBA, but there's a Raptor Freak grades for referees also on this channel. And I know these aren't official or important in some ways, but they are to Raptors fans, and they're also make more awareness of what is exactly going on with the refs and the Toronto Raptors. So yeah, we talk about this very in depth and very very much nuts and bolts level. That's right. Ray Acosta, I'm watching you. Seriously, I'm watching you, bro. Out of all of them, James Williams could be a screwy guy too. Trust me, he could go totally against us also. We'll just have to see how it goes. We'll just have to see how it goes. Kareem Thomas saying interesting matchup is Rui versus Colin Murray-Boyles. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's not really a dazzling matchup to me. You know what I think is a dazzling matchup? Fucking Colin Murray-Boyles on LeBron James. Slow that motherfucker down. Yeah, don't even put Scotty on LeBron. Although Scotty probably will ask for LeBron. He probably like, Darko, I want to guard LeBron tonight. Okay, Scotty, you do what you want. I love you. Okay. It could very well be it's like that, where Scotty's like, I got dibs on LeBron. I got dibs on him. If Luka's playing, maybe it switches like that. Maybe it's like one of them takes LeBron, one of them takes Luka, Colin, and Scotty. They got this really great defensive rating as a pair in the NBA that's been broadcast and posted on a lot of places right now. It's very, very good defensive pair, and Murray-Boyles and Barnes. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, man. It's nice. KT saying this also, Raptors seeking revenge tonight. Yeah. Yeah, we got to even the season series. I don't want to get swept by the Lakers this year. And that game that they beat us earlier this year was totally a winnable game that we fumbled at the end, just like the Clippers game on Friday. It pisses me off, man. I don't like these. I don't like coming around and seeing a team that we saw earlier in the season where we fumbled the game, and I'm reminded of how we fumbled that game, and I'm pissed. It makes me have more fire to want to beat them the day we get them the next time, like today. Seriously, because that game should not have been a loss against the Lakers last fall. It should not have been. We should have won that one. We should have won that one. Fiercey's making fun of DeAndre Ayton. She loves to do this. He's like a special target for her as far as like just, making fun. Yeah. Tonight we may get to witness the dominating experience. There are reports of the Lakers shopping for another big, which signals Jackson Hayes and Ayton are not it, but that's their problem. I mean, I said that at the beginning of the year. I was like, you guys went and got Ayton, and Lakers fans are all acting like they got woo-wee. They're so happy and stuff like that. What? Have you not seen what he's been doing the last couple of years? How he's bounced from Phoenix to Portland, and like, what is going on with him? Seriously, DeAndre Ayton is not an answer, and they figured this out halfway through the season. He did do well earlier in the season in certain ways, and he was kind of helping them with their winning at the beginning. But of course, Ayton's going to show his true colors by the end of this season. And well, it only took half a season to figure out exactly, what's going on there. Fiercey's saying this, Vanderbilt also a backup 5, so they have 3 of them and still looking for more. The same way we keep asking for backup bigs, they have the opportunity, but for some reason it never pans out well. Something wrong in the Lakers system. I don't remember seeing Vanderbilt as a center. He's a power forward. He's more of a 4. The other guy, Jackson Hayes, yeah, he's a center though. He's a center. I'll say him and Ayton are centers. But I don't look at Vanderbilt as a center. He's more of a 4. He could even be 3 at times also. So we're saying, is RJ playing? Nope, he's already ruled out. RJ Barrett will not be playing tonight for sure. He will not be playing. Kareem saying this, we ended LeBron's point streak of 10 points games in a row. We're also going to, hang on, they jumped ahead. We are also going to end the streak of number of games LeBron not getting the ball thrown in his face. Austin is out. Lakers Swiss cheese. Yeah, he's out, and that's good. I mean, I don't totally understand what you're talking about. There's a streak about LeBron not getting the ball thrown in his head. Who's going to throw the ball at his head tonight? Nobody's going to try and do that on the Raptors. We're professional, unlike him. Nobody's going to try and launch the ball at LeBron tonight. If Scotty did do that, I would say, yeah, that's just get back. This is a couple years later, and you deserve it because you did that to him. But nobody else needs to be launching the ball at LeBron's head. That's not right. That'll get you in trouble in the NBA. That will. Mischief saying this. Good morning to the base, man. Raptors point guards need to look at player shooting stats from the field and 3-point percentage to see who's on fire in the current game, 1 through 9. I'd be passing to the guys that are on fire. Game over. I'm all about this. I mean, I think that feeding the hot hand on the Raptors is smart, but when we sometimes we have games where there's no hot hand. It's like all the guys are missing shots. I'm all about this. I mean, we did that last game kind of with Grady and Oshai start waking up, and we fed Oshai late in the game after he made 3 threes earlier, but he missed the open shots late when it mattered. So, I mean, I'm all about this, and I think that they do this already. It's just that in some ways it manifests in weird ways on the court. They have the intention to get to the guys with the hot hands, but sometimes the defense has made the adjustment and they're really guarding the guys with the hot hands. And then the ball gets through the Plinko board on Price is Right to the different slot, and that's why somebody else takes the shot. You want to do this kind of stuff to plan and make it happen. If you have a really good play set with screens and getting the ball in the right places, the right people, right in the right time, definitively, that's great. But if you're just playing play sets that are somewhat improvised with different options, you're supposed to go towards the place where there isn't so much defense and get that ball to the open man. And that doesn't necessarily mean that Plinko chip lands on the guys who had the hot hand for the night. They'll be carding up on guys that made shots, and then they'll leave the other guys who are cold for the night. It's just that everybody as a collective needs to have a better shooting percentage overall. The Raptors shooting 16% from three or 26% from three. These stats, this is awful. There's teams in this league that shoot 45% from three consistently, and we can't even shoot 35 sometimes. That's messed up. And that's a whole group effort, not just like let's find the hot hand and do it. I think in some ways our roster is built in a way where we should be going inside more than shooting outside. And the outside shot can't, if it gets going and start working, that's great. But our bread and butter should always be in the paint and attacking the rim and transition and those kind of things. And that if we're lazy on a night because we're lazy, we don't feel like trying hard, and we're just shooting threes without any kind of moving around. Well, yeah, that sucks. We're going to shoot a bad percentage, and it's not going to work right. So work from the inside to the out, Raptors. Just do this as a general philosophy from now on. It's not even a particular scheme for any particular game. It just should be the way you guys go about your business every single game. Establish a layup or a paint shot or at least a mid-range shot over just a cold 3-point shot from the start. Y'all aren't like that. Y'all aren't like that. You can't do this. I wish y'all were like that, but you're not. You're not money like that, where you can just come out and just coldly shoot. I guess just intentionally shoot 3-point shots right away from the start of the game. So yeah, work it out seriously and get that opened up in the middle. Seriously. Reggie's saying this: Kawhi Leonard opened a basketball court in Scarborough yesterday. Had some really nice things to say about the city. The court is in his name. Well, I mean, Vince had his court out there too, and they came and revitalized it. His court somewhere in I forget where Vince's court is. See, I don't even care. That's how much. I was like, Vince comes back and they do this whole PR last year before he does his jersey retirement. We're gonna fix up this court that I forgot about for decades and let just waste away in this neighborhood. We repainted it and we revitalized it because the relationship with Vince and Toronto is back okay. Yeah, Kawhi, you go ahead and get a court named after you in Toronto. Go ahead. Why didn't you do this 5 years ago? All right, let's keep going. Fiercely saying this, not basketball related, but it seems Precious Achua is engaged. He posted pics and a lady was showing her ring on the right finger of the right hand. Yeah, I saw this. Somebody posted it in the Discord and I saw it. I guess Precious has gotten engaged. I think that the comment was something like, I forget what he said is the thing, but like, yeah, congratulations to Precious. He's a former Raptor. This is news for the channel. Let's see. Fiercely saying Kawhi fishing for organic standing ovation. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't even know if they even reacted to him on Friday night. Like, did the Scotiabank Arena crowd in any way react to him? He didn't start, so they didn't announce his name at the beginning of the game. Did they do any tribute video for him in the break? I don't think so. We've done that so many times for him. It's tired and old. We probably did one for him like the first couple times maybe, But are we going to do a tribute video for Kawhi every single time he comes to Toronto? I don't think so. You know, he's the kind of player that may come through and play his last game in Toronto and nobody would even know it, that it's happened because he may be hurt. And it's like, you know, he may never ever play in Toronto again. Like he missed his game on Friday and he may never ever play another game in Toronto, unlike Kyle like that. Man, I don't know. It's like it's a good comparison. And in some ways, he can see what happened with Kyle this past week, and he'd be like, "Wait, where's my flowers? Who am I? Chopped liver?" Well, this is you got to understand. There's a whole lot more to this Kawhi than just winning the chip. There's a whole lot more to this, and Kyle put that time in, and he is exactly who he is. He's the greatest Raptor of all time. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Fiercey saying, my friend shared this with me as her son met Kawhi, but I was just meh. That's cool. I mean, listen, he's an important part of our history. I think it's cool to meet him because he's such an enigma. Like, he's not like normally putting himself out there in public and doing stuff like this. This is very uncommon. I'm just gonna put that out there. The Kawhi doing this shit in Scarborough seems like pandering to me. It really, really does, guys. Really, really does. Let's see. Neil's saying this Kawhi working with the youth is a welcoming sight. Okay. Yeah. Why is he doing this now all of a sudden? That's what I would say. Infamous is here. Good morning to Infamous. Hello, everyone. The Lakers are currently facing a challenging losing streak. However, I expect a score of 8 versus 5 tonight, which could help them regain their momentum. Yeah. Yeah. I think the refs are ripe for this, that it will feel like 8 versus 5 tonight. And that means Raptors, you know what you got to do. You got to go above and beyond. You need to keep your task and focus at hand and not get bogged down in very like unfair calls. You can't let the refs get in your head. You guys got to plot away and you just got to overpower them and beat them. I think that this is true, that the Lakers are in a weakened state and that the refs are very much going to try and look out for them because in some ways getting blown out or beat by the Raptors too bad could make the Lakers they worry about TV viewing ship and like Lakers Nation tuning out because their team is so bad. Seriously, it's something like that, man. Mischief saying Kawhi, stupid moves equals stupid prizes. I mean, it's just what it is, man. Like, you know, Raptors Nation's brought up the topic of how do you celebrate Kawhi Leonard and his place in Raptors history. I think majority of us all agreed number 2 should not be retired for him. And but a lot of us are on the side that say, you know what, maybe he can get a statue. Like that makes sense. You could make, since he really had one epic, extremely momentous, maybe the greatest moment in NBA history. Honestly, that shot is so huge and crazy. If that shot had been done by a franchise that they care about and they put on blast, like the Celtics or the Lakers, we wouldn't hear the end about the Kawhi shot. Like if you really think about that, that shot is the most epic shot in the history of the NBA ever. And if it was another team other than Toronto, we wouldn't hear the end about that shot. They would be throwing it in our faces regularly and bringing it up over and over again. And so, I mean, that's a moment. And in some ways, a statue can commemorate a moment, you know, get him down on the ground like this after the shot. Like, that's it. You get the shot, like where he's low and he's like that. And, you know, I would say, yeah, statue would be okay, but I'm damn for sure not wanting to retire his jersey. No. Statue would be all right because it is a moment and it is something important in Raptors history for sure. Yeah. You know, even like ESPN has a ranking, the best moments or the most important defining moments of each season. And they put Kawhi Leonard's shot for 2019 as the most important moment of that year. And they listed him as Clippers. Kawhi Leonard Clippers hits the big shot. See, the shine, they take the shine away from us every which way they can. They didn't even want to put the Toronto Raptors name in the best moment of 2019. They said Kawhi Leonard, LA Clippers, hits a huge shot against the Sixers. And it's like, wait, no, he was on the Raptors that year, motherfucker. Yeah, that bullshit. Yeah, ESPN will shade us every single which way they can on their stupid ass website. They really will. All right, let's keep going. Infamous is saying, Key, they played last night. We need to keep up the pace and run them out of the building. I know. We need to do better than what we did against the Clippers. They're also missing a bunch of key players, starters as well, so we can take advantage of that. Yeah, and we may have way better depth than them. Like, seriously, I think we do. I think we have better depth because they are very top heavy with the big 3 of Luka, LeBron, and Austin. They're very top heavy. And then they got some serviceable other starters that play with them, like Rui. But after that, you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel with the Lakers roster. Seriously, Raptors champs is saying this. Good morning, Raptors freaks and champs. A champion mindset is the order of the day. That's right. A champion mindset does not fangirl over LeBron James, young Raptors. So don't do that tonight. Seriously, I don't want to see this shit. Y'all did this the last game. I saw it right in front of us. Don't do that. Take it to him. Bash him in the face with a forearm, calling Murray-Boyles if you have to. If he's in your way and he's trying to guard you, just bring your arm up a little bit. Yeah, why not? Why not? Hey, yeah, I'm the future, buddy. You're the past. You do that, Colin Murray-Boyles. That's right. That's right. Smooth saying Toronto is over Leonard, man. Yeah, this is too little, too late. It's like we were whining and dining you, and now what? You're youth camping us? Is this what was going on now? It's like, oh man, I should have done some more things in Toronto while I was still here. They don't love me as much as they love the other guys. Yeah, we love Marc Gasol more than you. Yeah, we love Serge Ibaka more than you. Yeah, we love Pascal Siakam more than you. Yeah. What? You were to wear this? Oh, you just thought you could carry us a championship and you just be loved forever? No, man, you made a decision. And you went to the Clippers. And you were an idiot for it. You know, that's what I'm saying right there. It's just part of it. Fiercely saying Nako and I in very close matchup in fantasy. All right, I'll check in on the fantasy. I haven't always been looking at that. Interesting. Oh, yeah, it's very close. It looks like you've got a 38-point lead on the last day. Wow. Wow. Gerald, are you keeping up with your team? I should maybe just tell you not to do that, and let's let Fiercely get that win. Yeah, I've got a good lead over Nins. It looks like Bryce is getting doubled up by Jason Dukes. Woo-wee. 400-point lead for Kareem over Cool Cat. Omari's beating Kaz. That's an upset right there, honestly. Kaz has got some time today to try and make it up, but Omari's record is the flip of Kaz, and that's pretty interesting. A 3-9 team is going to beat a 9-3 team. James is beating MK in the match of the week of the two top records against each other. We also got HC, the undefeated, is handling things against Andrew right now. And Amit is beating Mike in the other matchup. Yeah, a little fantasy check right there. That is a very close game between you and Nako. Yeah. Nako, are you trying? You better do what you got to do. That's right. Fiercey, good luck. I'm rooting for you, actually. MJ saying, I love that. L is LeBron, L is Luka, L is Lakers, L is losers. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I deserve a dunk for that. You like that? The L's? Yeah, young Raptors, don't be trying to give the Lakers no W. Give them what their name starts with, and that is the L. That is right. All right, so Raptors champs is calling out a dunk for Lex. So I will do that, man. This is my first dunk of the year, guys. Thank you, Raptors champs. I'm a notorious BI3. 18 days in the year, and I got my first dunk. Woo-wee! Let's go. Let's go, man. Yeah. Raptors champs is saying, yeah, I'd rather see a Siakam statue before Kawhi. Yeah, I don't know about a Siakam statue. Siakam's jersey needs to go up there. 43 is not a commonly used number, and it is very iconic to Siakam here. And once again, I want to say this, man. Siakam may be the most decorated Raptor in the history of the Raptors. He may be the most, decorated. Seriously. I know that other guys may have more all-stars than him, but he has the most awards and the most accolades. He's a G League champion with the Raptors. He's an NBA champion with the Raptors. He's a most improved player with the Raptors. He's a two-time all-star with the Raptors. There's a lot there of what he did for our franchise, and his body of work with us, and the accolades are just fantastic. You know, seriously, he's one of the couple guys that got a G League champion Raptor and an NBA champion Raptor. And that's huge, man. Him and Freddie, they're special for that. They're special because they're two-time Raptor champions just on both levels. And a lot of people forget that aspect about Pascal, you know, that he won the G League championship in 2017. So he's a two-time Raptor champion. And, Kyle can't even say that. Kyle can't say he's a two-time champion. Vince can't say he's a one-time champion. You know, Kawhi can say he's a champion and a finals MVP. but he didn't stick around enough for me. You gotta, man, you can't be a one and done and think that you're one of the greatest players in our history ever. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Neil's saying this: many NBA players that are not on the Raptors hold camps in Toronto, so it's not odd for what Kawhi did. Besides, they named some building after him. Yeah, this is a weird one, man. Who the hell is having camps that had no connection to the Raptors in Toronto? Nobody. Jeremy Lin played for the Raptors. He has a camp here. Most everybody who's coming and doing camps here, they had some connection to the Raptors. I don't think this is true, man. Danny Green, he was on the Raptors. He was on the Raptors. Why? Who are you going to name that was a non-Raptor that has held a camp in Toronto? Like, seriously, you're saying many NBA players that are not on the Raptors hold camps in Toronto? That's absolute horse crap. That's not true. That is not true, man. You go ahead. I mean, okay, maybe some of the Canadian guys. Danny Green had a camp last year where he's retired, and he was a champion with the Raptors. You're saying that he didn't play for the Raptors. He did play for the Raptors. Jamal Murray. I don't remember hearing about a Jamal Murray camp somewhere, but he has a connection in the community, so that makes sense. Man, I call cap on your comment, man. Cap. All right, let's keep going in the chat. All right, let's keep going with the tab. All right, we had a Raptors 905 game last night, and they lost, y'all. This is the third loss for the Raptors 905 all year long. They have 2 losses in the regular season now. Their record is 10-2, and they've lost the championship game at the Winter Showcase. So they're 24 and 3. That's their overall record, 24 and 3. That's badass. But they did lose a game last night by 2 points. They kind of just ran out of gas finally for like running without the two ways and Jonathan Moba. They've done a really good job in the last week or so of holding it down with these guys gone and still coming up and putting in the work to win. But they ran out of gas on this last night. In some ways, they were behind most of the game. They came back in the third. They held the lead for a lot of the fourth quarter, but then the Go-Go figured things out in the last bit of the game and took over and won. In some ways, part of it was Tyreek Key was off late in the game, and he's been kind of the guy carrying for scoring, and nobody just kind of stepped up and did anything about it. My star of the game for the game and the loss last night is Tyson Degenhart. Tyson Degenhart off the bench, 25 minutes, 11 points, 5 of 9 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. 0 of 1 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 3 turnovers and a steal, but he was a +7, which was the highest plus minus. So he was out there hustling. He was out there trying to make things happen. I did not give a star to a single person in the starting lineup from last night because I felt like the starters kind of screwed up the game because all of them shot poorly. And so all 3 of my stars for this loss are coming from the bench, guys. My second star of the game is Julian Reese. Julian Reese was perfect from the field, 4 for 4 with 13 points. He was also perfect at the free throw line, 3 for 3, 21 minutes, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, a block, a +2 for Juju Reese, who's still not getting huge minutes, but 21 minutes is pretty good. It's better than like 12 or 15 in games in the past. But yeah, Julian's developing and coming along. I really do believe he's going to be an NBA player. So he's just young, and he's just got to get more time out there. And he's a really solid player. Seriously, my third star of the game and final star of the game is Quincy Guerrier. Montreal's Quincy Guerrier had a lot of pride in the game last night. He was scrapping and fighting to try and help the Raptors 905. In fact, he hit a huge 3 late that was keeping us in the game. But alas, we just ran out of gas, and we couldn't score at the end of the game, and the Go-Go overtook us, and they beat us by 2. 101-99. Quincy, 23 minutes, 10 points on 3 of 4 shooting. He hit that 3 late, 2 of 3 at the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 1 turnover, 1 steal, a -3 for Quincy Guerrier. Yeah, the starters were just difficult last night, and I'll go over each one. Patrick McCaw, we don't expect him to score. 16 minutes, 0 for 2, 0 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover, a -7. He did have a block. Then you got Jarkel Joyner, 29 minutes, just 6 points, 2 of 7 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. made his free throw, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steals, a +1. Jarkel just not the volume. And you're getting to start now, Jarkel. And in some ways, it's either you or Key that can be the main guy. And I feel like with the 2 ways away, this is your time to step it up and go do this. But alas, Jarkel Joyner is not taking the brass ring and fully taking the opportunity that's in front of him. And he's not playing that well. 6 points in starters minutes as a scorer. Jarkel, that's a fail. That's a fail, man. David Roddy had a bad game, shooting really crazy last night. 30 minutes, 10 points on 4 of 14 shooting. He was 1 for 3 from 3. He made his only free throw. He did get 10 rebounds, so he did have a double-double. 6 assists, 4 turnovers. He had the most turnovers out of anybody on the court. It's just a little chaotic, David Roddy. 2 steals, 1 block, a -6. There's some stat stuffing, but stuffing some of the wrong stats with the 4 turnovers and all the missed shots. Tyreek Key, he didn't shoot that great last night. 19 points in 37 minutes, 6 of 14 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, 2 of 3 at the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal, a -1. I'll say he's an honorable mention for the game last night, being the leading scorer with 19. But we need you to get more like you had the games before. And Olivier Sarr, he got a nice double-double. He's another honorable mention. 15 points on 5 of 13 shooting, 0 for 3 from 3, 3 of 5 at the free throw line, 13 rebounds. So he had a 15 and 13 game. That's honorable mention. 1 turnover, 1 steal, 1 block, a -5 for Olivier. And then AJ Hogarth off the bench as the backup point guard. 33 minutes, 15 points, 6 of 15 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, a +2. They didn't play Jaden Bediako. The Raptors 905 are just like the Raptors. They shoot horrible from 3, 25% from the three-point line last night. I will give a little bit of credit the other side. Sharif Cooper, the leading scorer once again for the Go-Go with 30 points on 12 of 17 shooting. Yeah, he was the best player on the court last night, and he took that game home. They did see Skal Labizari return to the lineup. He was not available in the first game against the Go-Go the other day, but he came and played last night. He got 14 points in his return. So, yeah, the team stats for the 905 versus the Go-Go last night, we shot worse than them, 43% to 44 for them. We shot worse for them at the three-point line, and we shot better than them at the free throw line, 70%, but they shot 58% from the free throw line, which is good. We out-rebounded them 51 to 42. Assisted turnover ratio was bad. 20 assists for the Raptors 905 with 15 turnovers. That's not the ratio we want. 20 assists to 15 turnovers is too close. And the other side got 20 assists with 13 turnovers. So they actually beat us on that. Points in the paint, very even. We've got +2 in points in the paint. So, yeah, Raptors 905. This is a close game. In some ways, they fumbled this game. If they had executed better at the end of the game, they could have won this game easily. They didn't make shots. A couple of trips down the court, and the Sharif Cooper took over, and he started making shots for the Go-Go when we weren't making shots. And some of this is kind of tiredness. The guys just at this point, they're not supposed to be all starters. Some of these guys that are starting right now have been coming off the bench most of the season. They ran out of gas. And that's the thing. When you have people graduate to the starting lineup from the bench because people are out for injury, it will show that they have to hit new levels of conditioning. And this is similar to what happened with Shed on Friday night against the Clippers, is that the Raptors 905 ran out of gas because they've been working guys that aren't used to playing so much longer minutes. Does that make sense? So, yeah, there's your 905 recap from a loss last night. There hasn't been many times where I've talked about a 905 loss this year. There's only been 3 times, and this is the 3rd time. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. Crazy. All right, let me keep going in my tabs. The next thing I got is the Instagram stories. And Eugenio Marui is celebrating accomplishment of a former Raptor, Justin Champagnie, who has scored his 1,000 career points just recently. That's interesting, man. So what? Champagnie's in his 5th year in the NBA, and he just scored 1,000 points now. There's guys in the NBA that score like 2,000 points almost in one season. So I get this is accomplishment. So Justin survived in the NBA long enough to get 1,000 points, and Eugene Omoruyi is celebrating that with him. So congratulations to former Raptors draft pick, I mean undrafted, Justin Champagnie. As an undrafted player, you hanging around and getting to 1,000 points is a great accomplishment. It's a great accomplishment. All right, let's see who else we got in the Instagram stories. We got Jonathan Mobo, and he's with a guy named Nathan Culbreth. And he's like, my guy. And he's working out. I guess was around San Francisco and he saw a friend of his talking. He's saying it must be the shoes. Okay. He's got the serious player shoes on. That's what it is. There you go. I like that. Let's see. Colin Murray-Boyles has a picture out his hotel window of Beverly Hills, California. Mamu is taking a picture also, surveying the scene. These guys have the same view, so you can tell it's from their hotel. There's Jacoby checking in with his hotel view out of his window. Let's see. James Wade is saying happy birthday to his son. He's got all kinds of cute pictures of him and his son at different times and different ages with his son. Every moment, happy birthday to my champ is what he's saying this morning. So happy birthday to James Wade's son. And let's see. Zach Eady's in London because the NBA had games in Europe recently, and he went to a soccer game. So Zach Eady's not playing because he's hurt, but he's out there on the pitch watching soccer or football in England right now. Scotty Barnes taking a picture on the tarmac, landing in LA with Garrett Temple and declaring that he's back in the sun. Man, I get it. It's crazy up here in winter, but the sun's out right now. It's actually very sunny here in Toronto right now too, today. But yeah, he said he's back in the sun when he landed up in LA, and he's got a cool picture of him and Garrett. Let's see, who else do we got in here? We got Jamal Shed. What is he doing? He's got his stats from the other night against the Clippers. Let's see. Is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much it for the Instagram stories this morning. Do I do Raptors Reddit? Do I dare? Do I dare look at Raptors Reddit? Somebody here on Raptors Reddit saying, who else thinks we are one or two more pieces away from the finals? Yeah, but you're trying to rush it. I think that we may be one or two pieces from the finals, but it's not on this timeline of this year. Like anybody who thinks that there's one or two magical trades that we can do this season to make us go to the finals this year, you're crazy. That's not how it works. When we get closer to striking in a serious way, then Bobby will make a move like Marc Gasol, and that'll make more sense then. But I like the idea what this guy's saying as far as like, are we one or two pieces away from the finals? Maybe just one, maybe not even one. Maybe we just go forward with what we got and we get there too. So I don't know. There's a Kawhi in Scarborough on Reddit. They're showing him there. Let's see. Some idiots saying that Josh should want to play for the Raptors. I mean, what is this crap, man? What is this crap? This is crazy here too. Like, all right, this is a very interesting post right here. This is guys saying, I'm a new Raptors fan amid all the political chaos. I'm a UK-based NBA enjoyer, have been a fan for many years. I got to say this last year has been rough with watching the USA deteriorate and the billionaires gaining more and more power and traction. And now seeing how Trump has treated our allies in Denmark and Greenland, it has finally tipped me. I've been a Knicks fan for a long time, but I can't happily enjoy a team that's owned by a Trump-donating piece of shit any longer. Even though New York is a blue city, I will not support any team with ties to the horrific shit the Republican government is trying to do to its people and the rest of the world. I apologize for making this sports sub political, but let's fucking go Canada. Let's go Raptors. This is a very interesting post on Reddit. This is a UK guy who's historically a Knicks fan, but he is turning his back on the Knicks because of the political situation that's going on with the states. It's crazy. All the EU allies are sending troops to Greenland to stop Trump from possibly trying to invade that territory. This is madness. This dude has, what he's been used by Putin to destroy the West. Putin hated the alliances of NATO and Europe and the United States, and he got his inside man, Trump, to absolutely disintegrate the alliances between Canada and Europe and the United States. And like these are people that the Americans fought side by side in all conflicts around the world for the majority of modern history. And all of a sudden, Trump is destroying that goodwill and these ties. And it's sad. I think that most Americans think that this is absolute bullshit, just like this UK guy, just like a lot of people in Canada, that Trump is so frivolously uh, being so irresponsible with diplomacy in the world as far as things, because it is really damaging. I don't think that they realize just how much people, they've got to get him out of power and get that entity out of there. The one that's expansionist and crazy and trying to be like, it's a risk board. Like, you fucking think this is a risk board, Parker Brothers, and your bullshit, you motherfucker, Trump. You think you can just go take little territories and shit like that? No, man. These are sovereign countries. And we've had these set this way for a long time. And Denmark has been holding Greenland for a long ass time, a long, 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 long time. And I mean, somebody posted this the other day. It's ironic that the Germans are sending freedom fighters to stop a possible Nazi invasion from America. That the Germans, who were in the middle of the Nazi regime from before, and this is how this shit started 100 years ago. Hitler looked at Austria and said, "I'm taking Austria." He just took it. He just took it over. And, that was a warning sign there. People can see what the moves are for a totalitarian fascist dictator like Adolf Hitler, like Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's Greenland is Adolf Hitler's Austria. And we need to be aware of this. And the other thing is, it's overtures that like he may try and do this shit with us. So I'm just saying, man, in some ways, if there is a World War III coming, it's starting to shape up like it may be USA and Russia versus the world. Seriously, because look, Trump is in bed with Putin. And did you realize that, Americans, that you're on the side with the Russians at this point? And that is not the right side. You guys know that. You've been trained and programmed your whole life to know that the Russians are full of shit and they're fucked up and their country is not a true free society. And so it's a very dangerous, crazy thing. That's an interesting thing to see on the Raptors Reddit, that a UK fan that's a longtime NBA fan has switched his allegiance from the Knicks to the Raptors, and he's saying, "Go Canada." Ooh-wee, ooh-wee. Let's talk about straight goods on Canadian goods. Today, I got a little bit one is different today, guys. I want to do this maybe once a month because I got this new calendar, and it's Ontario-grown marijuana, guys, cannabis. And well, this is the cannabis of the month for January. It's Blizza. Blizza comes out of London, Ontario. It's from a strain. It's originally from California, but it is a Canadian strain, and you can get it at your Ontario cannabis shops. Blizza. Look at those crystals, man. Woo-wee. Yeah, Blizza. Blizza. I should get my glasses. I don't even have them. What does it say? Blizza's brand grew from a shared passion for cannabis genetics between Ontario grower and California-based creator. So yeah, here you go. Here's your straight goods on Canadian goods. Blizza. It's out of London, Ontario. It's a strain, and you can get this at your local sanctioned legal weed shop. See, I can advertise weed on my show now because it's legal up here, guys. So yeah, Blizza. Go get you some Blizza. Fiercely saying Siakam deserves a banner. He's accomplished so much for the Raptors and organization. He deserves a jersey retirement. Yeah. Yeah, there's a banner for that, but he deserves a jersey retirement for sure. He's got a banner. His name is on the championship banner. That's right. Neil saying Siakam still holds camps for the youth in Toronto, even as a Pacer. Yeah. I mean, Fred on his Unguarded podcast recently, the Fred VanVleet Philanthropy Foundation is still doing things in Toronto too. Like, he's got stuff set up in Houston now. Now he's a Rocket. He does stuff obviously in his old hometown of Rockford. And then also, he's still doing work up here in Toronto. A lot of the former Raptors don't close their stuff down just because they leave. I mean, Vince was keeping up with a lot of his charities, even though he was gone and not totally liked in this country. There's a lot of stuff that Vince was still doing up here. There's always been this kind of stuff. Jonas has stuff he does up here that he still does, even though he hasn't been a Raptor since the championship year. He got traded from Mark. And Jonas Valanciunas still does certain charity work around the city of Toronto and has connections up here. So there's a lot of these guys still do this for sure. Siakam's a little bit more public about it than most of the other guys because he's doing big stuff. He's doing really big stuff. Yeah. Neil saying this. We are more than 2 players away from a championship. Let's stick to the playoffs for now. I don't think we're more than 2. This person is trying to say that we're like a couple of 2 pieces away from a championship. I think we're actually maybe closer. We may be just 1 piece away from a championship. It's just that we got young guys that got to grow and mature and get older still over the next couple years. And when the time is right, Bobby will strike and he'll go and get that last piece to really put us over the top. And and it's a similar thing to like Marc Gasol. It's a similar thing. Brandon is the Kawhi move. We've already made the Kawhi move. Brandon is the Kawhi move. Now, when do we do the Marc Gasol move? Closer to the championship. And it's not time yet. We're not ready yet. In some ways, you don't want to put into that capital and like the apron stuff until you know the striking distance is close enough. And right now, we're too green, we're too young, and we're too inexperienced in certain levels. We got to get these guys in the playoffs and see how they react and how they play in that. And they have to learn what the playoffs feel like. A lot of those youngsters have not tasted it, and they're going to see it's a different season when you play in the postseason. And that's part of the learning curve to get to become an actual bona fide championship contender. Is if you've never shown up and actually done playoffs, and you got to get that first taste and fail, you just do. So the Raptors got to do that this year, get in the playoffs and get that taste and see how the competition levels up, how the referees change their whistle, and how more physical it is. And when they learn what they expect, then they can start preparing and use the whole year for it. Because in some ways, teams like the Charlotte Hornets, team like the Wizards, with all these young players, they don't really know what it's like to win in the league because they've never gone the postseason. And you could go to the postseason for the first time. A losing team finally gets in there, and they're like just shocked, and they're like, "Holy shit, we're nowhere near being a championship contender." That's part of it. That's why the Knicks and the Celtics are more of a championship contender than us this year because they're proven and tested, and they've gone in there and done that. And half our team has not. Half our team has never ever played a playoff minute. So we got to get that out of the way. It's kind of like you got to get your introduction, initiation into postseason. This year we'll do that. God willing, we should. It looks like we will. And that will be a good, important step. But every step in its right order. Every step in its right order. I would say that. Yeah. Raptors champs thinks we're a center away from a championship. That could be like that. I don't know. Maybe Jakob gets very healthy and we don't need an actual center because he's actually fine all of a sudden and he doesn't have any more of these issues. I don't know. There's a lot of different outcomes. Once again, we got to let Bobby analyze things as they go, and he'll make the adjustments and the moves that are as needed, not just because that's, oh, let's just do this. No, he'll do it as needed, not necessarily just for the sake of doing a deal, which a lot of people are saying that right now. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Kaloy saying, this is what I told my wife with the shit he's trying with Greenland. Canada might be next. Well, I thought this right away. Like they were kind of telling their playbook right from the start. Part of the problem is Trump. He introduces stuff like as a joke or just kind of like, oh, he can't be serious. He's saying this like he's going to do that. Like that. Don't take him serious. No, take him seriously because that motherfucker makes overtures about shit and then he does circle back and does them. He knows that in some ways, doing any kind of moves towards us is a huge, huge thing. And in some ways, Greenland is the test. It's the test to see how much he can push and get away with. At a certain point, the American people have just got to rise up and say, we're not for this shit. We're kicking you all out. And we're going back to the way the America is supposed to be in the world. Because seriously, in some ways, we need the internal strife, the internal resistance to depose the regime that's in charge right now. That's going to be the easiest way to fix this. But none of it's going to be easy. That won't be easy. And then the other thing is, like, if it has to come to that, if there is a big, huge global conflict of war, where countries line up on which side will be very interesting. There is a possibility that the Axis powers, the bad guys in this round of World War, is the United States, Russia, and China. And that the three of them, as three big, huge powers, are all against the whole rest of the world. And that is, in some ways, it looks like it could be that. Now, China's a wild card. They could be an opportunist and jump in with the rest of the world against Russia and the United States, which I hope they do. because that's the right side to do things. And Mark Carney taking the tariffs off the electric vehicles, and we're going to start getting Chinese electric vehicles here soon. And the only reason why we had that tariff on there was because the USA asked us to put 100% tariff on EV vehicles from China. But we made a deal with them that they're going to buy some more of our stuff, and we're going to allow them to sell us electric vehicles. So this is great. This is fantastic because I want more electric vehicles in Canada. I want us to get away further from gas. And in some ways, this pisses off the fossil fuel companies. If this helps our relations with China, and hopefully we can be in a good place with them strategically as an ally, this is all fantastic because it's just gross and scary because it's like you live in a house and the neighbors that live underneath you in the apartment below you are crazy, and that's kind of what's happening with Canada right now. And whatever happens with Greenland is something that we should maybe project that could possibly happen to us. Venezuela in some ways is the same thing. It's like the funny thing I've heard about Venezuela at this point is Trump is so stupid, man. He doesn't think anything through. He just has his own ego driving what he decides to do. And he went and seized the oil in Venezuela. But now I'm hearing that the US companies and the fossil fuel companies don't want to even do this. They don't care about Venezuelan oil because to upgrade the systems in Venezuela to get to the oil and do the things to do it is not worth the money to them. And a lot of them are saying we pass on wanting to control Venezuelan oil to Donald Trump. And he's like, what do you mean? I did this for you. I came in and kicked him out so you guys could seize the oil in Venezuela. And the oil companies are saying, no, we're good. We don't need to do this. And Trump's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's hilarious. It's so stupid. He's such a dumbass. He really is a dumbass. And that whole side is really stupid. Like the MAGA is really, really dumb. Like they are low chromosome, low IQ people that are not skilled. And honestly, if everybody gets together, the people with brain cells, we will kick their ass, mop them off the floor. And the diversity and the strength of all the other people against the idiots, the incels, the basement dwellers, the racists, the pieces of shit, the Nazis. No, they're finding that out. Like in places like Minneapolis, Nazis go outside and they get pelted with snowballs. We just got to stay together and understand that part of their weapon that is so powerful is fear. And if they make people afraid of them, they're more likely to kowtow with them. If you're a coward and you're just like kowtowing them because you're scared for yourself, oh my gosh, I lose respect for you. I really do. I think that most of us need to just stand up and resist it, especially Americans inside the United States, especially. And we can do our part in other places by boycotting and continuing to do what we do already. In some ways, Mark Carney wanted to increase spending in defense in Canada. Yeah, do it. Seriously, I'm 50. I'm too old to enlist, but if you need me, I'll enlist. That's what I'm saying. They did a poll up here in Canada, and it's showing that a certain percentage of conservatives are saying that they would just roll over and retreat and give Canada the United States. This fucking sellouts, people like Danielle Smith and the fucking separatists out in Alberta. No, true north, strong and free. And if you're a Benedict Arnold or a coward like that, yeah, you were never really like a true Canadian. If you're totally all about like, yeah, we'll just let them do what they do. Fuck that. Fuck that. Because seriously, we are a huge country, and strategically to hold our country down and keep us watched out, and they can't do that. They can't even do that to Venezuela because they didn't send anybody there to take over that country. They have no control over that country. Actually, it's all symbolic and just words. They haven't invested the military infrastructure to invade Venezuela like they did Iraq or Afghanistan because they know that it's a bogged down and won't be popular. So they just symbolically came and took the leader out and left a power vacuum for right now. And well, this lady, she came and kissed his ass and gave him the Nobel Prize. And that was actually really smart strategically because I don't know if she's a good leader or not, but who cares? It's not like he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. The Nobel people say you don't get that. You don't get that. Nobody can trade this award. So yeah, in some ways it's a really weird charade. In some ways, the whole thing about MAGA and Trump and what he's doing is absolutely cardboard, and it can be punched through. And in some ways, it's going to be wet cardboard that just disintegrates in a certain time soon. Because people are waking up and seeing the truth. They see that the mass media in the United States is lying and is not talking about the protests, is not talking about just how unpopular and how much people are resisting, is not talking about the economy tanking and all of the horrible things that are happening economically with the country. Yeah, if he's not good for business, those people that are donating money and like, oh, we love you and all this stuff. Well, at a certain point, he's bad for business. They'll get rid of him too. Seriously. Seriously. Do people want war and stopping everything and making everything all upside down in our lives? Or do people want business as usual? I think people want business as usual. And those big corporations, they don't want to get all screwed up because everything's upside down and turned into chaos because of a madman and his bullshit, man. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. All right, let me see. All right. I don't know why we got into this. In some ways, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I guess I read something on Reddit real quick. All right, let me see. Hang on. Where are we here? Right here. Raptors champs is saying, will it by thinking it championship mentality? That's right. I'm thinking for world peace and sovereignty for Canada forever, sovereignty for Greenland and Denmark, sovereignty for the countries that are already established. And I'm thinking for NBA championships. I have a list of manifestations that I think about all the time. And Raptors championship is one of them. World peace is another one too. Right there. That's right. Shaq Lindsay's here. Good to see Shaq Lindsay. Thanks for supporting the channel. We have an international banker for our leader representing our country. America, you have an international corrupt wannabe dictator and a buffoon for yours. What a joke. Yeah. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay's asking, how does that smoke? I don't know. I haven't tried Blizza myself. I just figured this is an opportunity for me to do a straight goods on Canadian goods in a new way, just a new inventive one. And this is a calendar, right? So every month I'll have one strain once a month. So there's going to be a weed day every month this year. I'm going to use this calendar as my gardening calendar. I'm going to keep track of when I put stuff in the ground and, just keeping organized with like what I'm doing growing stuff this year is going to be on this calendar. Yeah. Let's see. Neil saying Raptors made 4 to 6 moves that championship year. It's a multiple moves starting from last season. They only kind of really made 2. Why do you say they made? I mean, you could say that a coach's change. I guess that's one. I mean, there's Kawhi, there's Mark, and then there's that move. Like that's really the only. Nick Nurse. Those are the 3 moves I really think that coincide with the championship directly. Is firing Casey and hiring Nick, Kawhi for DeMar, and Mark for Jonas. 3 moves. I mean, what's the 4th one? Are you saying some minute little move? Oh, we got Patrick McCarr or Jeremy Lin. We got Jeremy Lin. No, don't count that. Come on now. Shaq Lindsay saying this. Might go out and buy some Canadian weed, no hydro, natural fertilization and sun, light for me. I want to start growing my own. I think I'm going to try and grow some this year. I haven't really tried to grow any weed out here yet. And people keep saying, man, you smoke weed. Why don't you grow it yourself? You know what? I should. I just haven't had very good luck with growing it in the past. And I'm really such a snobby weed smoker. Like I have to just smoke pure sativa. And I don't trust myself to grow the right weed. And I feel like I'll grow the weed and then I'll hate it. I'll be like, I grew weed. I'm like, I'm sorry, I hate it. Why did I grow this? I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe I should start getting into it though and learning more about it. It's crazy because when I was in high school, some of my best friends were the best weed growers in Tallahassee. Like these guys were like amazing scientists and they were all into strains and stuff. And this is in the early 90s. And man, it was so nice having them as my friends because I always had the best shit. Always had the best shit. They were literally one of the guys is still running a landscape business down in Florida. And he's just one of the best like green thumbs I've ever met in my life. And he really was so scientific with strains and like separating and doing everything with it. He was really meticulous and he had some of the best shit I've ever smoked in my life. Seriously. Chloe saying, I want to say how the people of Minnesota are badasses. The resistance is starting there. Some people have said that Trump focusing on Minneapolis and Minnesota right now is partly because he's scared of Chicago. He's scared of LA. He's scared of these other cities, New York, because he knows those people won't take no mess. And in some ways, Minnesota is an easier target because they're nicer people. But yeah, he's finding that they're not so nice there either, and they're not liking what he's trying to do there either. You guys got to remember, and they say this over and over again: ICE has no jurisdiction to do what they're doing right now. In some ways, they are not law enforcement. They are not supposed to be doing what they're doing. And once again, film the hell out of them and arrest them. They'll get arrested and they'll get in trouble like eventually. Trust me. Everything should be documented in evidence. And the Nuremberg trials for this century will come at some point. That dude who shot Renee Good, he's definitely going to get in trouble for this. Trust me. He will. It's all going to come crashing down for Trump and their people, and it's going to be pretty epic to see. Let's just put it that way. It's going to be pretty epic to see, guys. I have a good feeling that it's going to come this year and sometime this summer because people are just fed up. And this is making such desperate, crazy moves. And, the Epstein files, obviously he's guilty. And nobody, like, in some ways, him not releasing them is just making him look so bad. And everybody knows he's in there now. Even his own supporters know. Even his own supporters, seriously. Mischief saying, why does the U.S. need to take over a country just to defend its Greenland? Greenland is part of Denmark? No, it's just totalitarian dictator expansionist mentality. What they want to do, Putin and Trump, they want spheres of influence. Like they want to take the Americas and let Trump just be in charge of the whole South America and North America. None of our countries matter, and that the United States runs all of our affairs. That's what they're trying to do with Venezuela. Now, the groundwork to do all that and make that happen, especially in a continent like South America, with the terrain and the way it is, and then a country like ours that's so sparsely populated in all kinds of different places. I mean, basically, they would be like occupying us, like Nazi Germany came out and tried to occupy all of Europe and take over parts. And well, there would be some crazy resistance. In some ways, it could be similar to Ukraine. Like I'm saying, like Russia's overtures about Ukraine came for years and years before they finally invaded Ukraine in recent years. And well, that's what Trump's doing. He's making overtures about expansion and wanting us as a 51st state. That's what I'm saying. Don't take this as a joke. This motherfucker's crazy. And the more nobody checks his power and tries to stop him, he will continue to go down his list of what he's trying to do. It's just that, he needs to be stopped. He really does need to be stopped. Let's see. Neil's saying this. It will shut down car plants that service the U.S. We'll have to see how everything shakes down. I mean, that's the thing. Business is bad. Business gets stopped up. A general strike could do that. Warfare could do that. It could screw up a lot of different things really fast. That's why I'm telling everybody, start growing your own food, start doing things, because prices in this world could get very erratic and expensive. And the more self-sufficient you are for yourself and your needs, the better off you're going to be, just in case the shit hits the fan. Seriously. That's part of the reason why I'm saying grow your own food. Seriously, grow your own food. That's right. Shaq Lindsay's saying, don't believe the hype. America can't take over Greenland because they can't even take care of their own backyard. I think this is true too. I think that the biggest weapon that Trump's using is fear. He really wants people to feel like there's retribution and that you should be scared and that whatever you say, you're going to get in trouble. Like he's coming after liberal thought and woke and left and all this shit. He's after Antifa, which is not a real organization. It's a mentality against fascists. He wants the boogeyman things and make people scared. And, he is doing stuff to immigrants right now. And there's not people aren't standing up and saying, this isn't right. Some people are getting out there and they're protesting and they're doing stuff. But there are a lot of people in the United States that kind of are like, well, I'm glad the illegals are leaving and all this kind of stuff. But look, he's going to go down the list. And at some point, somebody you care about is going to be on his list. We need to stop him. That's what I'm saying. The fear mongering is the biggest weapon. So if we don't believe in fear, if we don't take him seriously, if we look at him as he is, the emperor with no clothes, a lot of his power is taken away. A lot of his power is taken away when you understand that he is a joke. He is a joke. He's absolutely a joke. He's always been a joke. Neil's saying this, understand that he has no problem taking over Venezuela and Greenland because they have the resources he wants. He doesn't want Mexico. Well, that's probably true to a degree. But he in some ways, like I said, it's a sphere of influence kind of political mindset. Like China has a sphere of influence and around Taiwan and Hong Kong and Korea and around that part of Asia and the Pacific Ocean. Russia has its sphere of influence towards China a little bit, but not really that direction, but more towards like the Eastern Europe and like the around like Kazakhstan and all that, all those little countries coming around underneath it. That's what it is. These guys are ego people that want to feed their ego. And in some ways, like Putin would love to take all the old territories of the USSR back and put them back in Russia. That's why he invaded Ukraine. That's why he makes overtures and does little slights to Poland and the Baltics. He wants to reacquire lands that in his twisted ass mind thinks that they're rightfully Russia's when they're sovereign countries that fought for their independence and they are fine without Russia being involved. That's the whole thing right here. That's the mentality of imperialist spheres of influence. Then you need to understand that, guys. Yeah, and Neil's saying he would take Canada in a heartbeat. No, I don't want him to do that. Don't even speak that into existence. He wouldn't take it in a heartbeat. It would not be easy. It would not be easy politically or strategically or logistically. It would not be easy. It's a lot of ground to cover. And who's to say when you actually hold in Canada, you can come in and take Maduro out and say, oh, USA is in charge of Venezuela. But that's not actually the truth right now. They are not totally in charge of Venezuela. He can just say that and declare that because he knocked out a dictator that was there. That doesn't mean that he's actually controlling Venezuela. It's a lot of hot air. He could say, "Oh, we've taken over." Let's say they come in and they send some people into Toronto, and they say, "Oh, we've taken over Toronto. And we're in charge." Do you think they really brought enough people into Ontario to take over Toronto and occupy us with how many millions of people we have here? Do you realize what amount of people you need for your forces to come and do that? And do you know how much U.S. People are deployed all around the world for security reasons already? They if they wanted to make that their priority, it would be really dumb strategically because honestly, there's nothing wrong with the peaceful border between Canada and USA the way it is, and they'd make something really wrong real fast, and they'd fuck around and find out real quick. Seriously, we should have more pride as a country because we do have a lot of people here. We have a lot of territory. And, once again, in the history of US invasions into other countries and trying to do shit, they're not very successful. Let's just put it that way. You can look at a small country like Vietnam and see what happened in the Vietnam War. You can look at Afghanistan in the last couple decades and the failure of the US occupation of Afghanistan. So it could be a very similar thing. It's just that they'll be here, they'll be annoying, they'll be probably fascist and fucked up and maybe do horrendous things. But if we're strong as a country and we resist and we say, fuck this, we're not a part of the United States, we could get through it just like Vietnam. We could get through it just like Afghanistan. And did you ever think in your lifetime that we would have to talk about this subject? No, because a megalomaniac is in the White House. And that's the problem. The United States political system is broken to allow for this to get to this point. Obviously, saner heads did not prevail, and there's no checks of power at this point. This is what I'm saying right now. So, yeah, let's see. Smooth saying he wants Greenland for the minerals. No, he wants Greenland not just for the minerals. He doesn't just want Greenland for that. He wants it for his ego. In some ways, he's the tiny hands man that boasts that he has a big dick. He wants a thing that he's seen on the map since he was a little kid in school that the Mercator system or whatever made look huge. It's huge. It's a huge piece of land. And it's the symbol of looking it on the map that it's such a big land mass. It's like, oh, I'm just going to increase American control of more land mass. It's more that. It's not even about the minerals. In some ways, it's Putin with his hand up his ass as he's a puppet to destroy the EU's relationship with the United States. That is what this is. It's nothing to do with resources. It's about tearing up old allyships so that Russia is in some ways showing that, look, Europe, you guys don't have USA on your side anymore, and they're not actually going to help you. In fact, they're coming to try and do shit from the other side like we are trying to do shit from the other side. That's the fucked up shit about it. Now, the thing they don't understand is, all those EU countries are very powerful together combined. You can say, oh, it's just France. Oh, it's just Germany. No, but when you have all of them solidly together, like they just did, sending stuff to Greenland, those guys are a lot more powerful than people think. And that allyship between countries is strong. And those are the good guys. So, USA, why the fuck are you lining up on the axis of evil with Putin and Russia? And your own citizens inside are like, we don't want to do this. We're not this. And somebody said this on social media somewhere. I saw it. All American media going forward, when you make movies, you can't make movies about the U.S. Army being the heroes if things are going to change in this kind of ugly ass way where U.S. Army is invading everywhere. It was already kind of full of shit. Delta Force and all these American movies about romanticizing the hero American soldier. Yeah, in some ways, it's how you look at it. Maybe in World War II, they were the liberators and the good guys, but they're not necessarily the good guys in a lot of the other conflicts that have happened in recent years. And if this one happens like this, well, it's just going to basically show their heels, their absolute heels. And, you can't make worldwide global theatrical releases where the United States is the good guy anymore, because that's not going to look like that. It'll be just like in the 80s where the Russians were the bad guys. Well, the Americans will be bad guys too, because that's the way the world's going to look at it if Trump does this shit with Greenland. I'm telling you right now, man. Shaq Lindsay saying, I can't wait for those EV to hit the market. F those big car manufacturers they brought into Trump's BS. Yeah, these things are cheap. And honestly, I love the fact that they're electric and they're better for the environment. And we're going to be going towards more like what China's doing with this. That's why I really hope China can be on the good side of things in this conflict. Like, seriously, if China's the big badass good guy in the world going forward because they're in green energy and they're doing the right thing, and they're also helping with everybody with their military strength. Woo-wee. I'm like, look, people have taught me to hate China and think China's the big bad guy and stuff like that. Sure, they have human rights violations. Sure, they have a lot of issues, but they also have a lot of good things happening over there that they don't tell us either. Like, people have healthcare. People have like green energy. People have high-speed rail. They don't like to talk about the successes and the innovations and the good things China's doing. They just want to talk about, well, it's a communist country. Oh, and they have human rights violations and stuff like that. Yeah, but in some ways, they're doing communism in a way that's actually helping the people to a degree also. So, not every country's perfect. And honestly, United States, you don't have no room to judge nobody. Seriously, you're going to talk about China this, China that. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Chloe's saying U.S. companies already have access to Greenland. No one wants to do the digging there due to hard ice. Well, it's also like countries like Norway and other Scandinavian countries are making no drill laws. And they're saying, we're just not doing this. Another thing that country like Norway does, and this is why their country's so rich and everybody's so happy, is all of the fossil fuel drilling and money that they derive from that sector, it doesn't go to a big oil company. It's a shared trust of all the people in their country, and they all make money off of the oil profits from Norway. That's why the people in Norway have a lot of money, because they all share in the profits and not just like one big corporate oil company stealing all the profits and taking it from the resources. They truly believe that the resources in the ground belong to all the citizens. And as they sell the resources, they pay everybody with that. Isn't that interesting? That's actually how they can do basic income. And like nobody, in some ways, some people there don't have to work. They can get into creative endeavors and do whatever they want in their lives. And that's actually really freedom, honestly. That's freedom right there. We've been bought and sold this whole idea. If you don't work, you're lazy and you're an asshole and you're a drag on society. That's not true. In some ways, in the history of time, people had to be creatives. They didn't necessarily work regular jobs. And sometimes they had a patronage from a rich person and say, I love your sculpture. I'm going to pay you to just do sculpture because I value art. That's kind of stuff has existed in time. And society is much more healthy and fun and interesting when there's culture and there's people that have time that don't have to toil doing all work, and they can be creative and create stuff like write a book or do a painting or do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a big lie. We need to decondition ourselves from thinking that people that aren't working or have a job are losers and wrong people. Because honestly, there's going to be way more people with no jobs with AI and automation coming. And we have to change our philosophies and our thoughts on how we view that whole system, because capitalism has conditioned us to look down on people and treat people like shit. If you're just a leech on society and all this kind of bullshit. That's all capitalist bullshit. Seriously. It's all capitalist bullshit. I'm telling you right now. Let's keep going. Let's see. He doesn't want Mexico because he's using Mexico for his anti-immigration campaign. It's not just Mexico, it's all South America. And in fact, the most effed up thing about ICE is they're stopping Native Americans, indigenous people that were here long before everybody else, and acting like, and they're getting cuffed and they're getting racially profiled and they're getting fucked with. And the nations in the United States, the indigenous people in the United States, are coming together and denouncing ICE because they're racially profiling the Native Americans and indigenous people that have been here longer than everybody else. Like, what is this? Your immigration and customs, but you're going after people that lived here before your asses did. Seriously, that's the thing. This whole thing is just racial profile and going after anybody who's brown right now. That's what they're doing right now. They don't give a shit. They come up to a person just because they have an accent on the street. They say, "Oh, you have an accent. Let me see your papers," and all this shit. That's Nazi Germany. That's Nazi Germany right there, man. That's Nazi Germany. Is Neil saying Jody Meeks and Lynn? Those are your two other moves. Shaq Lindsay saying Chinese EV are flourishing in the UK. I just think that it's great. Like, honestly, if there's a cheaper alternative for people to get around and they get off of fossil fuels and the fossil fuels companies suffer for this, that's fantastic. Because, in a lot of ways, you could directly link a lot of the world's conflicts to the oil companies. That a lot of the world's conflicts in recent history have been partly in the middle of the oil companies, or in the middle of part of the reasons why these are happening, is basically what I'm saying. Yeah, Neil's saying you have to count them, and they dumped Greg Monroe. No, you don't have to count these as main moves or big moves that had a lot to do with us winning the championship. Jody Meeks, Jeremy Lin. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Kaloy saying this: BYD vehicles are so impressive. Excited about them being allowed in Canada. Yeah, this is a great trend. This is great news. And honestly, we're that kind of friend to the U.S. We're hurting ourselves for having good vehicles here just to help out the U.S. And now the U.S. is pissed at us for going back on this. Well, look, what are you guys doing right now? Why should we do anything that we had agreements with you guys when you guys are tearing up the contracts with everybody around the world right now as far as alliances? Seriously, that's right. Neil saying the service has suspect with Chinese. The service has been suspect with the Chinese EV. I don't know what that means. Remember, computer parts can be faulty. Incorporating them in cars doesn't change that. Okay, I don't know why you're being negative. If you want to be contrarian, or I don't know what that means. I've heard of Hyundai drivers spilling water on their console, and it costs the driver over $5,000 in repairs. All the electrification isn't foolproof. Yeah, you just seem like you're a shill for the oil company, Blackhawk. That you're just, I want to hold on and stand up for the fossil fuel industry by putting out more BS and scare tactics to say, no, you don't want an electric car. You could ruin your car by dumping a water on it. Oh my gosh, Neil. I do have no respect for your comments right now. This sounds like made up bullshit. I'm going to say that right now. Mischief saying this: I've started growing my own food indoors this year since I grow my own weed indoors only. Cool, man. I mean, I'm trying to start my seeds early inside for my tomatoes and my cucumbers. I'm gonna start them in February and do them in little egg carton and just get the sproutlings, and then I'll transplant them out into the raised beds and get a head start for the growing season this year. So I didn't do that last year, and my tomatoes and cucumbers didn't really come around till late summer. So I'm hoping that if I start them in February, I can get more of a yield this year over a longer time. And I'm also going to try out this method of starting them in the winter. So yeah, I'm going to get them together next month. It's a little too early for me to start them right now. Shaq Lindsay saying, despite the loss, I like what I see from Dick. I think we're in good position. We just need a backup big. Yeah. Yeah. I like Grady what he said the other day. He said, man, people that are criticizing me, they don't play in the NBA. They don't know what it takes. They don't know what I'm doing in here. And in some ways, it's growing pains for Grady this year. And in some ways, he's got to go through these kind of growing pains and struggles to get to the next level of his NBA career. So hopefully he's coming through the other side of it now, and we'll see more production from him for the second half of the season. because Jamal said it plainly after the game on Friday night. Grady's taking the same shots that he's been taking all year. It's just they're going in all of a sudden. That's it right there. That's it. Trevor's saying you guys failed to look at the big picture. Canada military and U.S. military ingrained into each other. I don't know the weakness because they make stuff for them. Yeah, I mean, Trump has some weird dome he wants to build, like whatever. I mean, whatever it is, you got to understand his motives are all fucked up. His motives are all fucked up. They're seeing billboards in the United States put up by veterans groups saying you can refuse orders if they are crimes. And they're trying to remind all the military and police people around the United States that, you got to follow the rules. And in some ways, your oath is to the Constitution. It is not to the president if you're in the military. And what is your job, police? To serve and protect, to make sure public safety, to stop violence. I love what Mark Carney's doing here. In some ways, I don't like an increased police budget, but in some ways, the whole mentality of police in Canada is more to serve and protect, and that they take that oath seriously. And that, any kind of riots or chaos and violent offenses, that's what our police are for, to stop. So, the police in the United States right now with ICE, they're actually causing the violence and causing the turmoil and the bad stuff. And I just hope our police up here understand they know their job and they stick to it, because, peace and love and understanding and, society not deteriorating into craziness. The police are one of the thin blue line to keep that from happening. And that is their job. And that's why they did it. That's why they wanted to sign up, not to be corrupt and be all lorded over by a dictator. They're supposed to be out there protecting grannies and little kids and people so that they can have good, peaceful lives. And that's the thing. Police officers got to understand, what's your purpose? What is your purpose? Is it to be prison guards in society? Or is it to keep society safe and free and nonviolent? That's the thing right there. That's it right there. Let's see. Neil's saying, I didn't say it would be easy to take over Canada, but he would do it, especially if just stop with this line of talking. Neil, I don't like your mindset. Just don't even say this shit. All right. I'm not going to read the rest of your comment. In some ways, I might time you out for the rest of the day. Seriously. Because your mindset, even if you think you're speaking truths and stuff like that, in some ways, we're not talking this. I'm going to put you on timeout. You're on timeout for, the rest of the day. That's fine. That's fine. I'm sorry, Neil. It's just got to be like that. It's just got to be like that. Baseman saying this, when you think Giacca Pirtle will be back, I'm hoping he'll be back before the playoffs. I hope he'll be back sooner than that. I was hoping he'd be back like 3 weeks ago. This is crazy. He's been out way too long. Honestly, way too long. Koloy saying this is Putin's wet dream. I can't believe the Republicans are letting this slide. Cult mentality is a scourge in these modern times. Yeah, to cut your nose to spite your face just because you hate your enemy so much. That's part of the problem. Is a lot of conservatives here in this country and the Republicans in the United States, they don't care about doing what's best for everybody. They just want to be in a versus war, and they want to just own the libs and all this kind of stuff. The libs were never the problem in any kind of way. It's just y'all are dumbasses that took hook, line, sinker, the division, and got all amped up with hate and anger. And now, like, even though, like, that's the thing, it happened. Trump won the election, and they were still angry after that. I'm like, wait, what's wrong here? It's because these are sad, miserable people, like the guy who used to come here all the time, that have bought hook, line, and sinker hateful rhetoric, and they're absolutely being puppets used in a divisiveness and a versus thing. Seriously, at this point, it's conservative politics and Republican politics aren't about what's doing best for society. It's about getting back at the other side and doing whatever they don't want done, do the opposite, because that's how we feel like we win. It's so ridiculous, petty, immature, and it's not good leadership. It's not good leadership. It's destructive, toxic leadership that is not good for anybody. And even their own supporters are going to feel it with their healthcare costs and their increases in groceries and all the other things that are coming for them. They'll find out the mirage, and the hate was a part of the weapon they used to get the power. And absolutely, y'all were used as puppets. People like Cowboy, used as puppets. Seriously, man. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying Colin Murray-Boyles is so impressive as a rookie. Can't wait to see his next maturation and how he looks with the true center. Yeah, I'm with that. I like that a lot. Shaq Lindsay saying, I'm okay with keeping Dick and Jacoby. The shooting was never a concern for me. It was the effort on defense. And I like what I see from Dick these couple of games. I think that the thing that has made me more like, okay, maybe we do want to keep Grady still is the way he's finding his shot in the mid range. Like he's a creative scorer, but he just hasn't done this at all. Maybe it's because the spacing on the floor hasn't been right for him to get those opportunities. Maybe it's because they weren't looking for him in the right way for those opportunities. But when Grady has some room to kind of dribble and kind of move around a little bit and do a little turnaround, he's a much better NBA player. And I had forgotten about all that stuff because we really hadn't seen it this season until recently. So seeing it back again has been fantastic. No Glazing You is here, man. He said, new sub. Came in here because this randomly popped in my feed. Wasn't expecting a level take on capitalism and the current shift in trade dynamics. Fight. Nice. Yeah, we do everything here, man. I have no filter. And I'm very wide open on politics. I mean, I'm a sensible person. I mean, I consider myself pretty progressive. You could call me woke. I don't feel like that's an insult, but I feel like the things that are going on right now in the world, I think that most people don't want to talk about it because they're like, I don't want to talk about it. But this is one of the most important things we should be talking about, especially when our mainstream media is failing us with information that people like me may be more likely to be more truthful and honest and accurate about what's happening in the world than CBS, which is crazy. So I appreciate the sub, no glazing, and thanks for the first comment. And I hope I see you more in the chat, not just on politics, but talking basketball for sure, because that's normally what we do. We got heavy in it today. I try not to do this very often. There may be like one day, it's really kind of one day every 2 weeks, I go and dump politics and talking about it. And this is kind of like the Greenland stuff is really amping things up right now. So it's definitely something we like to touch base on and talk about just a little bit to try and get in the right place. I truly believe the systems that we're in right now are going to collapse and that we're going to have to build new ones. And as everybody getting together and sharing ideas and actually thinking about what's best for the collective is a much better way to build the new world than the oligarchs and the corporations deciding everything for us with AI and data centers and everything they're going to do. Because we have a real strong chance to fall into some dystopian future where they surveillance state, where they watch us and they put people in prison for all kinds of crazy shit. ICE is just the first stage of it. It could get to a certain point where Americans are absolutely the least free people in the world because every single thing they do online or anywhere in the world is watched and they are getting penalized. And if you're an opponent or an enemy to the state, like Putin's dealt with Russians that are his enemies, you see how Putin deals with them. Start expecting this with the United States, especially with Trump putting up charges against his political enemies that have not done anything wrong. This is that kind of shit. This is that action. And that's why we all need to stay informed and understand exactly what this threat is right now. Really, really do. That's right. Isaac's putting me on blast. I like that, man. I like that. Thank you, Isaac. Kaloy saying, when Yak comes back, do we still have Colin Murray-Boyles as a backup big? Will Colin thrive more in a different position? Should we explore lineups where Colin is at 1 and Scotty is at 4? These are great questions, Kaloy. I like this. Colin's kind of told on himself that he can guard the center. I didn't think he would be able to this season. I seriously saw his size, and I'm like, man, they're saying he's a small ball center, but I don't believe it. But, well, they were right. He's got the strength already to manhandle people in the paint in a way that's like beyond his year of a half a year of the NBA. So I truly do believe, yes, he will be one of the main backup bigs, if not coming in to relieve Jakob when he comes back healthy, hopefully. But there's also the thing that could happen where Yak is not exactly right going forward, and he's not going to be a starter anymore. And Colin's got that spot, and Jakob will be like a utility big for us. He'll still be in the rotation when healthy, and he'll play a lot, but he may not be starting. That could happen. I'm thinking this more and more just because Yak is taking so long to come back. But he could also be the starter on given nights when we're playing people like Embiid or Jokic or Zubac. It may be better to have Jakob in the lineup when there is a really big, true, talented center. So, yeah, and I love the idea of Scotty at 1 and Colin at 4 with Jakob back. We've been kind of doing this lately already with Scotty playing more backup point guard with quickly out. This is kind of what we've been doing in the last week with Scotty at one and Colin playing 4-5, 4-4 or 5 right there. No Glazing saying, I think you have a level take, man. It's refreshing to see. Appreciate it. See, I feel like a lot of people are scared to do this right now because a lot of what they're saying is that they can go through and find everybody who's kind of woke and saying things that are not totally for Trump. And I feel like that's just part of the scare tactics, the fear mongering. If they have some sort of thing where they're going to go through everybody's social media and see everybody saying something and then start, well, they can't jail everybody, right? And what are they going to come after people for? And I do still live on this side of the border in Canada. And in some ways, I'd hope my country would protect me in all kinds of ways from any kind of bullshit like this. As a Canadian born in Canada, but raised in the United States and an American citizen also, I have a very interesting take on all this. I was born in Toronto, but spent the first 4 years of my life, but I spent 20 years after that in Tallahassee, Florida, raised in Tallahassee. So I'm very familiar with America and in the South and the state of Florida to have my opinions rounded the way I have them. It's not just a Canadian guy up here talking about the States just out of his ass. No, I've spent half my life in the United States and half my life in Canada. And I know both. I know both right there. That's right. Yeah. But Glazen, man, once again, man, I appreciate your comments, man. James is saying he's just a rookie. Imagine calling in a couple years. I know, man. I know. He's going to get that baby fat off and he's going to get more strong. He's going to get stronger. That's the craziest thing. He's already super strong. It's insane to think what's going to. And the other thing is, like I said, the knowledge. He's going to understand players more and more individually as he goes. He'll get to know like people and their proclivities. And because he's such a cerebral player and he's also got such great talents and such quick hands, he could be very OP just from having specific scouting on each player for nights. Because there's a point where OG got to this. OG early in his career was a general defensive player. He evolved. And then later we heard OG talking about his scouts and how he does things for defense and why OG is who OG is. He's so specific and he's so crazy with his detailed game planning before the games. That was part of Anunoby's success that nobody talks about, is that OG really knew the guys he was playing and what their tendencies were, and he absolutely used that in his great defensive prowess as a player in the NBA. That's the thing. Colin can't do that yet. In some ways, he's orientating himself to the NBA just in general, the life, the travel, the league, the referees, the other players. In some ways, he gets more comfortable after a year or two. He can start doing that specific scout for specific people more and more, and familiarity. He's going to be even better. He's going to be even better. Trust me, because he's already deflecting shots, getting steals, blocking shots all over the place already. And just think when he actually knows and scouts and what do you think he can do, man? Oh my gosh, James, you're so right. Chloe's saying, imagine that lineup: Scotty, RJ, BI, Colin, and Yak. Lineup of death. That is a crazy lineup. So Scotty's the point guard, RJ's the shooting guard, and the forwards are Brandon and Colin, and Yak is the center. That is a lineup we could put out there. That's a very big lineup. That's a very big lineup. And there's some real defensive chops when you've got Scotty, Colin, and Jakob out there. Oh my gosh, those are defensive chops. Fiercely saying Colin is also a very good passer. I've noticed this. Yeah, that's another area that we've got to just explore more. The synergy between Barrett and Barnes is fantastic on transition. You can see the way these guys, like, they make pinpoint passes, between the legs passes, just right in the spot. RJ's so good at catching. Scotty's so good at passing. It's a beautiful thing. The synergy between Barnes and Barrett is very well known and absolutely worth having around for years to come. The synergy between Murray-Boyles and Scotty is a little bit different. It's more half court, and it's predicated off of a two-man kind of like pick and roll slip, and kind of you do this and you go that. You cut to the basket. Oh, I see you. You're so good at finishing near the basket with your hands. Boom, here's the ball, Colin. You just dunk it. So there's some really interesting chemistry that's starting to early develop with Scotty and Colin that's super cool. And because they're both really good passers, they're interchangeable as to who's going to be the guy finishing, or passing. It's pretty cool. Kaloy's saying, yeah, but no shooting, no shooting, no shooting. What? And the team, that lineup, you think there's no good shooters in that? RJ's a good shooter. Brandon's a good shooter. Scotty, he's pretty good. He's been shooting really good on the three this year compared to last year because his thumbs are healed. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. There's Emmanuel. I like Emmanuel. That's right. That's right. Kaloy's saying this. Ja just seems to not know what is good for him. He isn't all that smart. I just don't want him near us. John Morant, yeah. Yeah, we don't need him here. He's a distraction, and in some ways, he's not gonna lead to winning. He's more likely to derail you. He's a fool's gold. I often say these guys are so talented, and you think that you can rely on them to get somewhere. No, they're gonna cut out on you and not be there for you at the worst time. James Harden's a classic example of this in the playoffs. And John Morant, I don't trust him to stay out of trouble or stay available to help the Raptors if he was a Raptor. No, I don't. I don't at all, man. No Glazing saying nobody should be scared. That's what authoritarian regimes want. This is exactly right. The public needs to speak out against the extreme government overreach by the U.S. administration, not only domestically, but their attempts. Yeah, to completely dismantle all our institutions internationally. Yeah, they don't respect NATO. NATO's been a thorn in the side to Putin for a long, long time. And that's why, in some ways, on the right wing side of things, they've been downplaying, talking NATO and what the United States part in it is exactly, and why is all this bullshit. They think because the U.S. is one country, and in some ways this is true. If there's lungs for NATO, they're one lung, and UU is the other lung, right? But the whole accumulation of the EU is, if not equal, but surpassing the United States in some ways also, as far as their contribution and everything. So there's a big myth by right-wing think tank people saying that the NATO has been freeloading off of America for protection for so long. It's such asshole rhetoric that's absolutely full of shit, and it's designed to make people think that we're being used. A lot of what they've said about Canada and the United States relationship is wrong too. We actually give a lot of good energy to the United States in electricity and lumber and all kinds of other stuff. And you know what else? We used to buy a lot of American products and really bolster a lot of American corporations by being a great marketplace for American selling stuff here. But a lot of us are turning our backs on that because of the tariffs, because of the overtures and stuff like that. And that didn't have to get messed up. In some ways, the tariffs have hurt the American people more than anybody else in the entire world. In some ways, we're pivoting from buying American and buying more Canadian and buying more other places. And it's actually helping our economy. Here in Canada, we've had growth and jobs and things. And in the States, things are contracting because it's kind of like they shit the bed and it smells and everybody don't want to have anything to do with it because Trump shit the bed. And it sucks because border towns along the country's border with Canada and US and the United States have suffered because none of the Canadians are jumping across and spending money in the US anymore. And then also, these companies like the Kentucky bourbon companies have lost huge accounts with Canada because Canadian Liquor Board just got rid of all the American liquor. And they were making so much money off of selling alcohol to Canadians up here that you could go talk to a guy who works in the bourbon industry in Kentucky, and they tell you that he totally fucked things up for them because a huge part of their share of selling is gone. And we're not the only country doing this up here. There's a lot of countries around the world, especially in Europe, that are doing the same thing. Australia, there's all kinds of countries that are like cutting ties and the great thing is we're getting more self-sufficient and we're starting to see the bonuses up here from it. There are more jobs here in Canada now because there's more demand because all of a sudden the Canadian companies are selling more all of a sudden. And all of a sudden they have to hire more people and build more facilities. So in some ways, it's like his whole idea, what he tried to do is absolutely shot the country in the foot. And the tariffs, honestly, the money for the tariffs goes to his pockets and the government's pockets. He's saying he's going to give money back to people. Bullshit. That guy's a grifter. His billions have grown incredibly since he got the presidency back in this last year. And that's because he's a grifter. That's because he's directly stealing the money from the American public and the taxpayers. And the tariff system is actually hurting the American people. They're paying for it. They're paying for it down there. It sucks, man. I hate this. And I wish people were more informed to understand the reality of all this and that he's the rise in the cost of living. And if they get him out, it'll help things immensely. It'll help things immensely. Because, some of us may actually start buying American again just by switching to a better president and somebody that we feel like is running the country the right way. Because listen, man, the idea of America is a beautiful thing. The United States and democracy has really been a role model and a leader for the whole world until recent years, until really Trump's first presidency. Honestly, in some ways, he railroaded some things in a bad place. And then Biden, in good faith, started to rebuild some of the strayed relationships, and now he's come back in this second. Honestly, Elon rigged the election. That's how he got it this time. They didn't win outright. Seriously, I don't believe that shit. I really don't. Elon did some weird shit with the voting machines, and it's absolutely all a criminal enterprise. Seriously. So hopefully, if you guys get a good, sensible person back in power, some people will come back and try and fix the ties that bind with the other rest of the world. Because listen, we understand it's not the Americans, it's not the everyday people. We don't hate America. We don't hate the Americans. We hate Trump. We hate the MAGA. We hate the regime of him. And just like in Venezuela, they celebrate that Maduro's out. We'll do the same thing when Trump is out. The rest of the world will celebrate. And I'm sure the American people will celebrate immensely too. And we will celebrate with you guys. Because that's the thing, man. We want unity. We don't want divisiveness. And this whole right-wing movement to divide everybody and conquer is absolutely been the game plan. And too many people have fallen for this. Whether they try to divide them on immigration, try to divide them on trans issues, like this shit matters. It's so crazy. And the more we fight it is by uniting and saying, you know what, I have more in common with these people that are different than these fascist assholes. And I'm with them. And here in Canada, I just hope that there's not too many of these idiots up here that are following the MAGA and thinking that, oh, this is right and stuff like that. No, we need more true Canadians on both sides of the political spectrum, conservative and liberal. Everybody should be just for the country together in this instance. And if you're not, you're a traitor. Seriously, any Canadian up here is like, yeah, I want to be the 51st state. You're crazy. You're crazy. This is a good arrangement. Some people would complain, oh, we got to do two anthems at sports games. Yeah, we should. And that's why in some ways it's important for Americans when the Raptors do play tonight in LA, they hear the Canadian anthem also with the American anthem. Because that's important, man. We're friends. We're neighbors. We're supposed to be best buds. We've been having the longest peaceful border for the longest period of time in the history of the world, and that should stay this way. That border should not turn into some sort of weird ass border. Seriously. Seriously, like East and West Germany or any of that kind of bullshit. I have family in the United States. I've already said I don't want to go and visit y'all while this is going on. But I don't want to have a part of my life where I don't see part of my family just because of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot to this, man. There's a lot to this. I love that No Glazen's saying, look, don't give them the power. Don't be afraid. Resist. I like that, man. I like that, man. I like that. Let's see what else he's saying here. Also, I know I'm at 2:12. I'll go about 2.5 hours today. That's fine. Let's see. Mr. Quasimodo saying, I hope us being shorthanded doesn't hold us back too much. Yeah, the Lakers are shorthanded too, and they've been losing more than they've been winning. They've lost 5 out of the last 6. And they did play last night against the Blazers, and they lost. So they're on a back-to-back with travel from Portland to LA. So that'll have to be interesting to see. Chloe's saying the next 10 games are going to be brutal and important for the Raps. Yeah, some of them will be winnable. I mean, we're going to Sacramento. We're going to Portland. There's some of these games are very winnable. I feel good about playing the Warriors in Golden State. I like that game usually. That's a fun game. The Raptors have had good luck in Golden State. They've had some good luck in Golden State. That's right. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying Ja has issues with the system the Grizz are running. He believes more picks should be made for him. He also is taking issue to some of the rookies getting playing time, which is affecting his minutes. So ask yourself, is this the type of player you want? Someone that can disrupt our chemistry and the system that we are running? Yeah, no, we don't. We don't. And Darko's worked with him firsthand as an assistant coach under Taylor Jenkins when he was on the Grizzlies. He knows Ja Morant intimately. I shouldn't say it that way. He knows him closely, intimately. Why'd you say that, Lex? That's weird, man. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want a prima donna. I don't want somebody, oh, you saying this and this, and that's what he wants. Okay. And you don't even like your coach, the Finnish guy. You got the other guy fired, and you're not even getting along with the new guy either. Yeah, he's just a problem. He's just a problem. Yeah, we're not taking John Morant. No, we're not. We're not, Kareem. That's right. No Glazen saying, yes, everything the current U.S. administration should be treated as propaganda. That is difficult for Western audiences to digest since we think propaganda has something is something that happens elsewhere, but is happening in our own backyard now. Yeah, critical thinking is such an important skill. And the things that are scary about now is the AI, is the voice manipulation, is the ability to make fake things online and make it look real. So there's a lot of like people have to question reality to a degree. Like you could see, like they're so good with deep fakes now that they could make Obama and just put him in a thing and make it look like he said something he totally didn't say. Like seriously, they're doing this kind of shit already. And on the download, they're fooling a lot of the really dumb people. And that's why I'm saying really learn how to discern what is AI and what is fake and what is real. Because in this era we're going into, this is going to be a really important skill to have, especially for whether you want to know what reality is or not, because they're going to try and make reality for all of us. And that's what they're already trying to do with this horse shit that they're doing from the White House right now. Man, no glazing's on it, man. I like this. I like this. Shaq Lindsay saying, just letting folks know Ja is not a team player, which is ironic because he plays the point guard position. Yeah, I've always thought of him as more of a shooting guard, even though, yeah, he technically is a point guard, right? But he plays more like a shooting guard, at least to me. Let's see. No Glazen saying, bottom line, the stats and data do not back up the value impact of tariffs for the American people. This has been tried, but other U.S. admins in the past, and it ushered in a massive recession. It's a really convoluted way to just hand money to the corporations and the government. And I don't even know. Do you trust Trump taking all that tariff money and putting it in the right places? No, man. He's spending it on lawn chairs at Mar-a-Lago and shit like that. You think he actually is spending any of the money in the US government correctly? He cut all the funding for social programs in that country so that he could cut taxes for the wealthy and he can grift straight to his pockets. And meanwhile, his sons are running around the world making business deals with everybody using his political leverage as the president and enriching his family on the down low with all kinds of weird, crazy ass deals with the Saudis and all kinds of shit. So yeah, he used to call the Biden crime family because of his son Bo or whatever. He said Hunter Biden is a criminal, not Bo. It was Hunter Biden. He's such a criminal. They're the Biden criminal family. No, it's the Trump criminal family. And quite often, if he's accusing Obama or Biden of something, he's telling his own crimes because it's one of his strategies is to get out in front of getting accused of something. He accuses other people of the exact thing that he's actually doing. So when he always said the Biden crime family, he's the crime family, and they're the ones acting like criminals. Seriously, the way that they operate the U.S. government like it's a family business that he can enrich himself off. Meanwhile, they get mad at Michelle Obama because she got a $200 dress from somebody at one point. Like seriously, hypocrites. And crazy, crazy mafioso organized crime shit in MAGA. Seriously, seriously crazy. Yeah, they can't get good people because they're scum. And they're going to be idiots. And they're going to be a bunch of dumbasses that are not the top creme de la creme kind of people that should be running the U.S. government. Smart people, educated people, people that are good in their field, people that are experts in what they're doing. No, they just want yes men. And they replaced everybody who didn't kiss Trump's ass with yes men that are incompetent. And it's like the opposite of DEI. It's like we don't want any DEI. We just want really stupid people that will kiss the ass of Trump. And well, they're going to have really dumb shit happening and they're not going to be very good at their jobs and they're going to be idiots and they're going to fail and they're going to lose because of that, partly because they don't have better people than the other side. We got better people on this side. That's right. Trevor's got the cutoff. Thank you. Shaq Lindsay saying politics is heavy today, but are we forgetting it's game day? I know it's the Lakers. What are you doing, Lex? What are you doing, Lex? Let's see if there's any breaking news since I've been on the air for 2 hours now. Let's see. Oh, well, there's some Trump breaking news here. He's ordering 1,500 more active duty soldiers to Minneapolis. Oh my gosh. Here we go. What's Doug Smith saying? He's saying something about that's some other podcast. He's talking about no dunks or something like that. Okay, yeah, there's no breaking news there. Standings watch, we're doing pretty good. Happy birthday to Gary Trent Jr., guys. It's Gary's birthday, our legacy player, a very important player in the Raptors history, honestly, because he's the first ever son of a father that played for the Raptors. Gary Sr., Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. is 27 today. So happy 27th birthday to GTJ. Honestly, I thought he was a great Raptor when he played for us. He had some game winners. He was a very interesting weapon. He was a streak shooter and he was up and down. But man, I like Gary's time with us, and he was a real one for us. His dog's name was Six, and he had a Raptors tattoo on his body. So, in some ways it was sad when he had to go somewhere else and we didn't reinvest in him. But I wish Gary all the best. It was tough. He got that low contract with Milwaukee, and he's still there. And well, just keep going, Gary. You're in the league and you're a badass. And happy birthday to GTJ, the first ever legacy player in the Raptors history. And that's special. And that does matter. That is something that means something, right? All right, let's do the classic card. All right, let's see. This is one of our segments on the show where I pull an old basketball card out, and you guys got to guess who the player is. And, well, this is funny. All right. And the first person to write the full name answer in the chat will get the Raptor Freak trivia points for today's classic card. We do this every single day. All right. You better be fast, guys, because this guy's buddy just got his jersey retired, and this one's too easy. Come on. Look at this card. It's nice, man. Of course, all the classic cards are at the next Raptor Freak get together in the box, and I'll bring them. And if you like this card, you can get it later. Yeah. You want to call him, you want to put in his real name? Do you know his first name, his real first name? I'll give it to you, Slug DZ. You got it. It is Muggsy. But what is his real name? What is Muggsy's real name? Because that is a nickname. And the card says something else. Yeah, this is an old Muggsy card. It's his 4th year in the league is what it is. What's his real name, though? Slug DZ for extra points. Tyrone. Yeah, of course. Yeah, there it is. Tyrone Bogues. Yeah, this is like let's see what the back of the card says on here. Look at his face. He looks so young right there, man. Baltimore, Maryland. That's right. 5'3", 140, shortest player in the NBA's history. And there's that first year with Washington when he was a teammate with Manute Bol, and they had the tallest and the shortest player in the league at the same time. Pretty cool. Those stats don't look that good until you look at the assists. They don't look that good until you look at the assists, and you see 867 assists that year with 166 steals. Yeah, that dude was a real point guard, man. A real point guard. I don't know. What year is it? Let me see. What's at the bottom there? 90, 91? 90, 91. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a card from 1991 season. This is older than you, Milbester. That's right, Knicks Freak. This is older than you, my guy. All right, so I'm going to give 150. Actually, this is too easy. Just 100. 100 points for Slug DZ for Muggsy Bogues. Muggsy Bogues is the classic card of the day. That's funny. I just pulled that randomly, guys. I don't have those set up. If I get something like that, that is just randomly out of there. So it's kind of cool to get that card. All right, let me do the rundown real quick after I finish up these. Milbester's coming in right at the end here. Let's see. 9:30 game tonight is going to be brutal. Yeah, it's a late night for a Sunday night going into Monday morning. Mr. Quasimodo is saying, always remember to be grateful for everything that our taxes pay for, always. Yeah. Yeah, because Americans could say their taxes are paying for their own detention. That's the truth. He wants to balloon the budget for ICE so that he can subjugate the American people with their own money. It's crazy, man. It's so crazy. Milbester's saying, good morning, Lex. Happy Sunday. We got round 2 of snow in New York City. 2 to 4 inches in afternoon and evening peak, a storm. And we had snow yesterday, but got 1 to 2 inches and 2 snowstorms in the weekend. I don't know if this is better than baseball. The weather report for New York City, Milbester. Really? I don't know if this is better than baseball. I always say this once again, Milbester. The priorities of this channel are Toronto Raptors, Canadian basketball, the Toronto Tempo, the Raptors 905, the Canadian Elite Basketball League, the NBA, the Knicks, but not WBC, not MLB, not the New York weather. The winter here, it's all right. It's better than last year. I think winter this year hasn't been as bad. I think it hasn't been as bad. I don't know if the same amount of snow accumulation is the same at this time of year. We'll just have to see if we get a really bad ice storm at the end of winter like we did last year. That really was like the exclamation point on a bad winter last year. This one's not been so bad. It's sunny out right now, and we've had some good melt. The level of snow in my yard is not too crazy right now. It's about 2 feet, 2 feet, not too crazy. Not too crazy. It was about 4 feet this time last year. So, Milbester's saying, yeah, Lex, Knicks on a bad stretch. We lost the Suns last night. Yeah, Dylan Brooks, man. Dylan Brooks doing some stuff to y'all. Raptors playing well. The standings switched. At least the good news is they are learning their flaws and now to avoid that in the playoffs. There you go. Yeah, I seen that you guys had an alumni night last night in New York where the JYD showed up wearing the orange and blue with people like Tim Thomas and Carmelo Anthony and Baron Davis and a bunch of old Knicks getting together and going to the game and standing in the middle of the court. I did see that. And of course, our guy, Jerome Williams, who's a Raptors legend, is shared with you guys in New York, and he was there. So I seen JYD's post, and he was hanging out with Dylan Brooks at that game too. So go on then, Villain Dylan, and take down the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's awesome, man. Yeah, you like that Muggsy card? Yeah, I'll tell you, Milbester, come to Toronto to the Raptor Freak Hangout, and I'll give it to you, man. I'll give it to you personally. I'll even sign it if you want. I'll forge Muggsy's name. That'll be fun. 3 years before you're born. There you go. There you go. Mischief saying we got 50 centimeters of snow, which is about 18 inches of snow for the year. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's do the rundown real quick. Once again, these are the injuries for the Raptors for tonight so far. As it says, RJ is out. Jakob is out. Jacoby is out. Chucky is out. Emmanuel is questionable. And Jamison Battle is questionable. I hope that Emmanuel comes back and plays against the Lakers tonight. That'd be fantastic. Jamison Battle, we'd love to have you back too. Lakers, this is what they're saying. Let's see if there's an update. Luka is day-to-day. So maybe he sat out last night so he could play tonight because of the back-to-back. We'll have to see. DeAndre Ayton, same thing. He sat out last night. Maybe it's because it was Portland. He didn't want to play in Portland. But he could be playing tonight. But so Doncic and Ayton will have to watch out and pay attention today. Marcus Smart got hurt at the end of the game last night in Portland and is likely he is not going to play today for the Lakers. Out also Jackson Hayes, Adu Terrio, and Austin Reeves is out also, guys, just so you know. The referees for tonight's game, James Williams, he favors the Raptors. Ray Acosta, he favors the Lakers. And Matt Myers, he favors the Lakers. So, yeah, the ref crew is looking like it's very high proclivity to be 8 versus 5 against the Raptors tonight. Just so y'all know, I'll be watching them really closely. And we'll have the ref manipulation segment tomorrow where if I see anything funny from James or Ray, I will be calling it out on the show tomorrow. Hopefully it's not going to be 8 versus 5 to the degree like Ben Taylor 2 years ago with Darko, where he's saying, why do we even show up if you're going to schedule a loss for the Raptors against the Lakers and railroad us to the day? It's a complete crap. Yes, that historic game from that time. All right, there you go. There's your Raptor Freak stream for today. We're at 227. We'll get out of here in the next 3 minutes. Nins is saying, W stream, W vibes. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. That's my guy, Nins, holding it down, the city of brotherly love, a place that is a bastion of American democracy and freedom and symbolism that matters. And that's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to that stuff. Why did the colonists fight the British to get out and become freedom for the Declaration of Independence? Why did the Americans do the different things that they did to sought out justice and freedom and democracy and the life pursuit of happiness for everybody, not just for people like that are white and rich? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot here that is at stake. And in some ways, America's got to remember what their identity is with the project and the experiment that the United States is. And remember that you guys have done so well at it for a long, long time in a lot of different ways. Don't lose focus now and get it back, because the power of the people, and this is just the latest test for your system and your democracy. It probably will need to be changed, and it may be needed to destroyed because it's gotten to such a bad place. So be it. So be it. But either way, we want America to get back to the ideals and the way that it's supposed to be in the world as a leader, and not going the way of Russia and becoming a bad guy. That's not what I learned from 80s movies when I was growing up. Movies like Red Dawn and Rocky IV. No, you didn't program me against the Russians and the Soviets to have all of a sudden Donald Trump sitting in bed with Vladimir Putin naked and peeing on each other in some sort of weird golden shower. There you go. There you go. I'm out. I'm not going to read your comments, Bill Bester. I'm out, Brian, my guy. I'm out. Let's go Raptors and beat the Lakers. As somebody said earlier, we could run the Lakers off the court. If we play hard and play Raptors basketball, we got to be getting at the loose balls and the rebounds, make our open shots, and play good team defense. Keep communicating, Scotty. I hear you out there. I hear you yelling at them, getting them in the right spots. Do all that stuff. Play as a team. We'll beat the Lakers tonight, even if it's 8 versus 5. All right, let's go Raptors. And I hope you guys enjoy the game tonight because it's a big W for the Toronto Raptors. Either way, we'll be back tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. every single day for 4 years straight now. We'll be back to review the game tomorrow morning, and you guys can put your opinions out on what you saw from the Laker game tonight. So hopefully we win, and hopefully you can stay up. We'll put that also there. Yeah. Where's Toronto in the standings? We're number 4, my guy. We're number 4. Y'all are number 3, and we're close to you now because you're slipping. And Boston 1, 2, and they're in 2nd, and y'all are in 3, and we're in 4. We're right underneath you. We're a game behind you. So go ahead and lose your next game, and we'll win tonight, and we'll see if we are above you all of a sudden in the standings. That's right. All right, I'll see you guys. Let's go Raptors.